Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. We have the Game Week 11 stream at a slightly later time than usual. I'm sure there were some of you that were probably ready to tune into the deadline stream a couple of hours ago, but no, it's basically because there's no early kickoff. So the first kickoff today is technically the 3 p.m. kickoff, so we have a 1:30 deadline. It did mean I had a bit of a lie-in, although I have a lot to do this morning because it is my girlfriend FPL Pickle's birthday, so I'm heading off to see her today. So I was still up fairly early, but it was nice to not have to stream straight away. I feel like a little bit more awake. I've got more energy because I've not just woken up. So, did bro just say ladies? Let me tell you, many ladies watch the live streams. Let me just tell you that. I met my lady through the live streams. So, there's that, isn't there? Yeah, captaincy is going to be wild this week. Lots and lots of captains flying around. I've seen some people are captaining Salah, Haaland, Spurs attackers, Cunha, all over the place. It does feel like a very decent week to differentiate. I don't think there's a standout captain, and I also don't think that any of the captains are going to be that highly owned as a result. So I feel like you've got no standout captain in terms of they've got the fixtures, the form, everything going for them. Like, even like Son, you would say penalties, great finisher, playing Ipswich at home, but the minutes aren't there. Like, everyone's got a slight issue associated. Usually, you'd feel pretty comfortable captaining Haaland, but he's out of form. Salah maybe looks like the standout captain, but then again, Villa's defensive data hasn't been that bad this season. So, yeah, I'm not sure which way I'll lean. I'll show you in a second what I'm doing right now, and we'll run a captaincy poll as well, too. Good to see you all, by the way. Thank you all for saying hello. Do you know what? Let's just get that captaincy poll set up whilst we're waiting for a few more people to join. Let's go for it. So start a poll. Chat, who are we captaining this week? Who are the popular captains? I feel like Spurs attackers have started to become more popular than like Salah and Haaland at this rate. So Game Week 11 captaincy poll. Because we can only do 4 options on a YouTube poll, I'm just going to have to put like Spurs attacker, I think. Good morning, everyone. Good to see people joining. So we've got Salah against Villa. Bruno, I'm seeing a couple of him. Burmo, not terrible. Not terrible. Good morning, love. Good morning, Claudette. Haaland against... Who's Haaland playing Brighton away? I said I feel more awake. I feel like I'm all of a sudden very sleepy and very not with it. So we've got Salah, Haaland, and then we'll say Spurs attacker against Ipswich. And then we'll just go other comment. Right, there's a captaincy poll in the live stream chat. Make sure to vote straight away. Get that poll going. Right, let me show you my team and my key decisions at the moment. So as things stand, I've got probably 2 major decisions to make. So the first is, what do I do with captaincy? So at the moment, for me, because I don't have a Spurs attacker, and to be honest, I may well have chosen a Spurs attacker, I don't really know, but I've got Salah and Haaland. So the decision that I need to make is which one do I captain. I think on paper, if you look at form, if you look at one of them is playing at home, one of them is not scoring the goals, etc., it does point towards Salah. And this has to... It's one of these strange ones. Like, so form is important, right? Form does exist. A lot of analytical managers will say, what even is form? And I do understand, like, trying to work out what we mean by form is very tricky. But form only lasts for so long. We've seen that with Haaland. Haaland was in form for 5 games. Then he's been out of form for 5 games. At some point, the form will change. Haaland won't continue scoring 1 goal every 5 games for the rest of his career. So at some point, Haaland is going to start scoring again. And so it's about, in FPL, with form, trying to work out when is that form going to switch back in the other direction. It might be that, by the way, Salah just continues scoring, which he could well do. And it might be that Haaland has 3 or 4 more games where he's not finding the back of the net. I've just got a bit of a feeling about Haaland against Brighton. And when I'm seeing so many people, like, I'll just have an early look at the poll. We've only had 400 votes, but 25% are doing a Spurs attacker, 30% on Haaland, 36% Salah, and then 9% other. Captaincy is very split this week. It's not like I'm backing against Salah against like Southampton or something like that. I don't think Salah will be that highly owned and that highly captained. I already own him as well. So the damage that Salah can do to me isn't very high. So maybe in a week where I don't think Salah is the 100% the standout captain, I don't own a Spurs attacker. Maybe I do just back Erling Haaland, because I know a lot of people in my mini leagues and other engaged managers have sold Haaland. So I know people won't like this, but Like I say, form only lasts. You're in form until you're not, and then you're out of form until you're not, right? And this is something that people don't consider. We saw, for example, Raul Jimenez. Raul Jimenez was in incredible form. Goal, 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 assist, goal. 2 blanks in a row. Like, players go through hot streaks and cold streaks. I've got a feeling that Haaland's hot streak could be coming up. I look at the next 2 games for him. I think Brighton and Spurs are 2 very Haaland games. I could see him doing very well in those 2 games there. Maybe it's a bit of like copium for still owning Haaland, and maybe I should have sold him last week or something. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling at the moment. At the moment, I'm just about leaning Haaland captain, but I definitely could captain Salah. Brighton is not an easy fixture, especially at home. I get that, but the data is better for Villa than it is Brighton. By all accounts, if you're looking at underlying data, which you don't have to use, Villa are a better defence than Brighton. I then had someone comment on Twitter, yeah, but in recent weeks, Villa have been so much worse. Villa have still been stronger, if you look across the last 3 weeks, than Brighton. Brighton are by no accounts a brilliant defence. And Villa, again, if you're trusting expected goals conceded, if you're looking at objective underlying data, they're not an awful defence. I don't think either of these defences will keep Liverpool or City out. I think both Liverpool and City score goals. It's just about who's going to be involved in a higher percentage. Ipswich scored 2 against Villa. Yeah, from 0.7 XG. They didn't accumulate a lot of XG in that game, I don't think. I just think that Haaland is equally as good of an option, and therefore I'm likely to back the captain that I think is less captained amongst engaged managers. Like, you can see that right now. You're in a stream where I own Haaland, I'm captaining Haaland on the screen, and in the poll, he's still not as highly captained as Salah. So I think Haaland will, amongst engaged managers, not amongst the entire user base, but he will be the more differential captain. Good to see you, Pickle. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Did you message me? No, it was Uber Eats. Uber Eats are messaging me. They actually target me. Uber Eats target me. They say, you know what? You're fat. You always order Uber Eats. Do you want some more? I'm terrified, not going to lie. I'm terrified and I own him, so yeah, I get that. I'm more terrified of Solanke because I sold him last week. Solanke's the one that terrifies me. Paul says, good, Ross, thinking of doing my first hit of the season. Lewis to Hall, Delap to Cunha. Leaves 0.1. Lewis to Delict, Delap to Larson leaves 0.5. I quite like Lewis to Hall and Delap to Cunha. I think I'd go for the first combination, Paul, but both combinations are fine. Obviously, I think this week Delict is better than Hall. Even next week. In the long term, though, with the money saving, I feel like you want less money in your defence and more money in your attack. So I would probably go for the Cunha option. Hi, I have Raya, Lewis, 8 Nuri, Robinson, Mazraoui, Garnacho, Salah, Palmer, Vardy, Haaland, Wood, Rodgers, Harwood, Bellis, Onana. Bench 1, free transfer 1.5 million in the bank. I don't think you need to make any transfers there. That's a really nice team. You've got Haaland and Salah in there, similar to me. Really nice defence. In terms of benching, I mean, out of your attackers, you've only given me 7 attackers there, haven't you? So you want to bench a defender? Is that what you're saying? I'd bench Rico Lewis because he's the most likely to be on the bench. I feel like 8 Nuri, Robinson and Mazraoui are all pretty good for this week. I've got Rico Lewis on the bench, but I do think there's a chance that he starts if Ake's not available. So basically, if Ake is fit, I think we'll see Walker at right back. I think we'll see Gvardiol at left back, and it will probably be Ake and Akanji as the centre backs. So I think if Ake's fit, Lewis is on the bench. However, Ake is a doubt. And if Ake's not available, they don't have Stones, they don't have Diaz. I think in that situation, it will be Walker right back, Akanji right centre back. I think Gvardiol will have to play left centre back, which means that Rico Lewis would start. So I feel like Rico Lewis starting or not all hinges on the availability of Nathan Ake, which I just don't know. Buy 8 Nuri or Mazraoui. 8 Nuri for me. Start Raya or Fabianski. I would just about lean David Raya ahead of Fabianski. Izzy Gaming says, good morning, our wonderful Ig. Good morning, our wonderful Ig. Thank you, Izzy. I went rogue, sold Haaland, McNeil and Greaves. Fair. To Bruno, Cunha and Dallo for a hit. Thoughts. Got Garnacho as well. So you've got triple Manchester United. I mean, do I love it? Yes. I still think Haaland could come good, but he's so expensive that even if he does, he needs to go massive to really justify that price. This is the issue. Like, if Haaland goes out there and gets a 9-pointer against Brighton, it still doesn't really justify like 15.3 million. Has he gone down again, actually? Or is he still 15? Yes, 15.3. Like, he needs to go like double digits every week, really, to justify that price. So I don't mind selling him, is he? It's a nice set of transfers. Nash United says, good morning, Ross. Listening to you driving to casino in Maryland, US. Need cheering up, but this is a great start to the day. Have Cunha as captain to differentiate. Thank you very much, as always. I appreciate your support in every stream. I still have never been to the US, by the way, Nash United, so I need to go to the US. Let me know if you live in the US. Where should I visit, if at all? Let me know where I should visit. I get almost overwhelmed because it's not like, oh, I want to go to Spain, therefore I'll go here. Like, the US is so obviously diverse, I just never know where to start. But Cunha captain, I actually really, really do like. Yeah, Cunha captain's a very nice one. Jim says, Bruno captaincy thoughts. Playing better last 3 games and a point to prove with a new manager coming in. Could be easily 2 returns for him. I honestly don't mind it, Jim. You could definitely do a lot worse. I probably wouldn't, but yeah, this is definitely the best week to differentiate captaincy that we've had in a while. In fact, apart from game week 13, which is also a really nice week to differentiate with captaincy, it's probably going to be one of your better chances this season. So don't feel like you've got to go for Haaland or Salah. Go to New Orleans, Boston. Okay, Las Vegas. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't recommend Las Vegas. California. I'll have to make a list. Maybe I could do like a US road trip. Maybe that's the best plan, is to go to a few different places. Captain Brennan Johnson, Cunha, or Mbermo, and why? I'd go Brennan Johnson because the fixture's there and his data's very good. Mbermo's playing against a decent enough defence, although they're not great away from home, Bournemouth, but I back them a little bit more. And Cunha's goal threat hasn't been that high. I'd probably back Brennan Johnson of the 3 there, James. Sell Maddison to Hoof for a 2.3 million in the bank, 1 free transfer. The thing is with Maddison, right, if you've got Maddison, I don't think Maddison starts. I think it will be Sarr and Bentancur with Kulusevski in the 10, and then Johnson, Son and Solanke. So I don't think Maddison starts, but I don't know that, firstly. And if you sell Maddison before Ipswich and he starts, that's a disaster. And if he comes off the bench, I do wonder, could he do some pretty good damage? Are there that many more midfielders that I would back to outscore him this week? I think if I was going to sell Maddison, it would be for Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, there would be some temptation for me, Maddison to Bruno, but at the same time, I really don't have an issue with keeping Maddison. And just like I said, if he doesn't start, hope he gets me off the bench. We saw that. He scored the free kick. He can do damage, especially against Ipswich off the bench. Save the free transfer or bring on Isaac Watkins for Darwin later. I would save the free transfer. I'd keep Darwin for this week. I think Darwin will start, and I think it's the sort of game where he could do well. Villa will leave space. They're not going to sit back and defend too deep. VJ says, hi Ross, please rate this team. Flecken, Lewis, Gvardiol, 8 Nuri. Yep, lovely. I'm not as sure about Rico Lewis, but if he starts, he's good. Salah, Mbermo, Rogers, Garnacho, Cunha, Solanke, Haaland. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's a beautiful team. My only concern, because you've got Solanke, Salah, and Haaland, it's really nice. My only concern would be both Garnacho and Lewis have slight rotation risks. So maybe that's something to sort in the longer term. But this week, the team's looking really good. What is the situation on Palmer? I don't know. He was apparently training with the physio on Friday and likely to train with the first team today. I think Chelsea train at 11 a.m. today. I'm sure a Chelsea account posted that they're due to train at 11 a.m. So it might be that before the deadline before the deadline is here, that we might get a bit of information on whether Palmer has been in training. So we'll keep an eye out. If you see anything on Twitter or on Chelsea's website, maybe have a check for me and just let me know, and then I'll share that if we get anything. But yeah, we might get something. Sort of touch and go. They are obviously playing at home, so there's no need for them to travel today. So that's a little bit less likely that we'll get that. They'll probably they'll still travel with the team, but they'll probably do it either tomorrow morning or later tonight. So I think it's 50-50 as to whether we get Palmer news, basically. Corey says, hi, would you do Foden to Bruno or Rao to Larson? I don't want to sell Foden or Rao this week. I wouldn't make either of those moves, Corey. If you're going to make one of them, I think Foden to Bruno feels good for the next couple. I still think if Rao starts, he's as good as Larson. I wouldn't make either of the moves, though. I think both Foden and Rao are both fine. Nicholas says, start Savio and Haaland, or -8, Haaland and Savio to Solanke and Bruno. I would start Savio and Haaland. I think they'll both start. Maybe Savio won't. I think he's so good, Savio, when he plays. I would start Savio and Haaland. Good morning at 3K. 3K in the world, is that? That's crazy. Plan to hold Salah or Haaland captain. I think, objectively, Salah is a marginally better captain this week. If I was to put percentages on it, let's say you were choosing between the two, I would say Salah is 55%, Haaland is 45%. Given that I think they are so close, though, I'm going to back again the player that is slightly less popular amongst engaged managers and amongst those in my mini leagues and those that I'm competing with. So I'm going to back Haaland. But I think Salah is objectively a slightly better captain. Hopefully that helps. Ishan says 2 free transfers. Fab, Trent, Gab, Aina, Kulusevski, and Burmo, Palmer, Semenyo, Haaland, Cap, Solanke, and Cunha. That is a lovely front line, by the way. That's the one I kind of wish I had right now. Rico Lewis on the bench and Raya. Lewis to Ryan 8 Nuri. So if you did Lewis to Ryan 8 Nuri, you'd be benching Ola Aina. If it's for free, I'd do it. If it's for free, I would do it. Yeah, you've got 2 free transfers. Yeah, do it. Because you still have a free transfer as well. Yeah, I would just get rid of Rico Lewis. He could start this week and he could do well, but even then beyond that, the fixtures aren't there. I'm still worried about the minutes. And if you've not got Ryan 8 Nuri, lots of people seem to be talking him down. That seems to be the new popular trend. Like, he was very popular and now people are saying Ryan 8 Nuri's playing for a weak defense. He's so attacking. I just think it's worth getting done. He will be suspended soon, but you just have to take that on the chin whenever that happens. Bob says 2 free transfers. Should I do Haaland captain and Rodgers to Cunha and Salah captain? Sorry, Haaland captain and Rodgers to Cunha and Hart. Oh, okay. Or just start Rodgers and do Lewis to 8 Nuri. The former lets me do Foden to Saka in game week 12. I'd probably make the move, Bob. If you've not got Cunha and you've got the 2 free transfers and that move allows you to get Saka, I would just get it done. I'd bring in Cunha and captain Salah, yeah. But just so you know, that is the sort of thing that could backfire. Like, Rodgers could return, Haaland could do well, but the season that we're having, you're just going to have to sell popular good assets when you don't want to. Like, you can't own everyone. In like game week 17, 18, Son, Salah, Saka, Palmer, and Haaland all have brilliant fixtures. Like, you just can't own them all. And that's sadly going to be the case this season. Why aren't you getting rid of Rodgers? I've got 0.2 in the bank. Like, who am I selling Rodgers for this week? Also, why would I sell Rodgers? Look at him. It's since game week 5, he's got 10, 7, 3, 6, 1, 9. The man has returned in 1, 2, 3, 4 of the last 6 weeks. He's been great for me. His underlying data has really improved as well. 0.42 XGI now, when it was down at like 0.3 before. By all accounts, he's been pretty good. And could he score against Liverpool? Absolutely. I'm not expecting anything, bear in mind. But I just think in the long term, he's a really nice hold. I've only got 1 free transfer and I've only got 0.2 in the bank. So I'm a bit more hesitant to sell him. If I had like 4 million in the bank, I might do like Rodgers to Bruno Fernandes, but I don't. Nash United says, get over to the US. Vegas, Boston, New York, New Orleans, San Antonio are my voyeur places. There is so much to do. I'll be your tour guide free of charge and have visited 40 out of 50 states. Good luck today. Okay, I'll make a note of those places. Let me copy those across. Yeah, I'll make a note. That might be a good place for me to start. Maybe Pickle and I can do a road tour of the US. Stevie Boy says, 1 free transfer. Roll the free transfer or get in 8 Nuri for Davis or Lewis. And which one? If I get rid of Davis, I can bench Colwell. If I get rid of Lewis, I'll have to play Colwell. I still think Lewis is a better sell than Davis for me. But yes, I would buy 8 Nuri for one of them, absolutely. Because I just think it improves your defense. I would rather sell Lewis, but I understand if you'd rather sell Davis. Direct says, happy birthday to Pickle. Thank you very much. I was going to say I'll pass that on, but she's probably watching. Tempted to do Palmer to a Spurs asset. No, I wouldn't do that. I would just keep Palmer. You're going to want Palmer from next week. It might help you in the short term, but it's booking in a transfer next week because next week Spurs have City, whereas Palmer's got Leicester. So I just think you're going to want to reverse that next week. Salah and a 5 million forward in for Saka and Jackson -4. No, not for me. There are no 5 million forwards that I'd want. And Saka and Jackson from next week are great. Saka and Jackson both going to a really nice fixture run. I would keep the 2 of them. I'd find another route to Salah. Probably selling Haaland in game week 12. The GOAT. Start Havertz or Savio, Mikalenko or Lewis. I'd start Havertz and Mikalenko of the 2 there. That does mean you're benching both your City assets, but yeah, that's the way I'd lean. Matt says, starting defenders, Kanate, Lewis, Robinson, and Colwell on the bench. Take a -4 to sell Greaves for 8 Nuri to bench Lewis. 400k first in my mini league by 3 points. I probably wouldn't for a -4. I do really like the move, and I just think that is such a massive upgrade for your team. I don't think I'd make the move, though, for a -4. I'd only want to do that for free, really. Archer has been okay. He has been, but if you're starting Archer, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, they are playing against Wolves, I guess. I'd just keep Saka and Jackson in that scenario, though, personally. Haaland and Mavadidi to Cunha and Salah this week. Yeah, if it's for free, Jacob, I'd get that done. Heinz says, wildcard in Game Week 12. Punt on Mbermo to Son captain. I own Haaland. I'd keep Mbermo. I think Mbermo could easily just match the likes of Haaland and Son this week. Mbermo's great, and you've probably got money tied up in him as well. That's the thing you need to remember if you're trying to take a punt before a wildcard, unless you've just literally just bought Mbermo. Like, I brought Mbermo at, was it 7? Let me actually have a look. I can't remember what price I brought Mbermo at. It wasn't at 7, actually, was it? Transfers, list. I brought Mbermo at 7.3, and he's now 7.9. So if I sold Mbermo for 1 week, I could sell him for 7.6. If I wanted to buy him back the week after, I'm losing 0.3 million. It's just, that's a lot of money to be losing before your wildcard. If you don't know that you could do this, by the way, if you go to transfers on your screen, and then rather than pitch view, go to list, you can see the purchase price, the selling price, and the current price. In FPL, you gain 0.1 million for every 0.2 million the player rises in price. So if you buy a player at 5 and they rise to 5.2 million, you can sell them for 5.1 million. But if you're struggling to remember what price you bought the player at, you can see it on the website. So I brought, who's a good example? I brought Gabriel for 6. He's now 6.2 million. So if I wanted to sell him, I could sell him for 6.1. Someone like, who's another good example? Raul Jimenez. I bought Raul Jimenez for 5.7. He's 5.8 now, which means I can still only sell him for 5.7. It becomes quite useful when you're thinking around wildcard time in terms of players you can sell and then ones that you might want back in. So when we say we've got money tied up in a player, that's what we mean. Like if we sell them and then want to buy them back, we lose money on that player. I know most of you probably know that, but I feel like I sometimes assume that it's just common knowledge. Cool, we've got a few super chats to get through. Durgleback, single-handedly still holding up the live streams. Says, hi Ross, how are you? Good luck and I hope you get a green arrow. I wish YouTube changed colour of this super chat. I love it. The big red, I'm like, wow, that's very generous. Thank you, my man. You're far too generous and far too kind. I am well, and I hope you get a green arrow, and I hope I get a green arrow as well. If I get a green arrow, I am 9 points off the top 1 million. If I get a big green this week, which is unlikely given I have no Spurs and no Man United, and I'm captaining Haaland rather than Salah, but if I do get a big green, I could push into the top 1 million, which would be amazing. But thank you very much, my friend. You're far too kind. Far too kind. So we've got a super chat from Taylor as well. So start Gabriel or Collins. I'd start Gabriel. XG and percentage of a clean sheet are very similar. I agree. So in which case, I would firstly back the better defence. And I also think there is a small chance, unless we get news before the deadline, there is a small chance that Palmer doesn't play. So I feel like you back the better defence. And obviously if Palmer doesn't play, then it makes it a much greater chance for a clean sheet. So I would start Gabriel ahead of Collins. Have Raya benched for Fabianski, so might just back a Chelsea goal. Also, don't feel confident with Salah captain. So if that was my team, I would start Gabriel and Fabianski, just to hedge the bets a bit. If you want to start Collins and Raya, I think that's fine. So I would start Gabriel, Fabianski, or Raya Collins. I would agree that I probably wouldn't double up on the Arsenal defence this week. With regard to Salah captain, I still think he's great, but I do agree that I don't think he's as standout as he was like last week. In terms of Mbermo, Bruno, Kulusevski, I would probably go Bruno Fernandes of the three. Hopefully that helps. DCL to who? Can't afford Cunha. Got Cunha, can't afford Haaland. I would go either Strand Larsen or even Ilson at that cheap price, I think. You could even just go 1 week early on Danny Welbeck is another option. I guess if you've got Cunha, you might not want to double up, but I don't mind the double up. I would probably go... I'd be tempted by even Ilson in your scenario. His minutes aren't fully secure, but with the fixtures coming up, I don't mind him as a punt. Scuba Steve says, loving FPL therapy. Thank you very much, Steve. Start Gahey or Lewis. Ooh, that's a tough one. I might start Mark Gahey, you know. I don't think it's a terrible fixture. Fulham haven't been the best attack so far this season. They're not bad, by the way, and I've got Raul Jimenez, but I would probably start... Mark Gahey, just about. Daniel Butler says, hi, Ross. This is for a hit to avoid being priced out. Okay. Haaland, Watkins, McNeil, Semenyo to Salah, Saka, Pedro, and either Solanke or Isak. So you're selling Haaland, Watkins, McNeil, Semenyo. I don't love that, Daniel. I understand what you're saying about being priced out. I just think Semenyo is a great hold. Haaland could comfortably outscore the other players this week. I don't know that beyond this week, Solanke's that great. I'm going to say no. I do agree that in the long term, it might be a better structure for your team, though, to have Salah, Saka, Pedro, and Solanke. So if you're happy to take the risk this week, maybe go for it. But I still maintain that I wouldn't want to sell Semenyo. DJ Fit says, Raul to Son. How can you do Raul to Son? I'm confused. Have to elaborate for me. Downgrade Raya to Sells / Trent to Canate. 2 upgrades, attack / pass. Downgrade Raya to Sells, Trent to Canate to upgrade the attack. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think Raya to Sells is a much better transfer than Trent to Canate. I still don't think Raya is that great. Even if he keeps clean sheets. Apart from this week, by the way, in which saves are probably quite likely, he doesn't make enough saves, Raya. So I think Raya to Sells is probably a better downgrade than Trent to Canate. If you want to make both of them, that's a lot of downgrade to make, but I still don't even mind it. If it allows you to get another premium attacker in, I'd probably do it. Joseph says, good morning, Ross. Hope you and Pickle are good and you spoil her rotten for her birthday. I will absolutely be doing my best. Have Pickford, Ryan Aït-Nouri, Trent, Ola Aina, Son, Salah, Palmer, and Burmo, Wissa, Cunha, and Wood this week. Who would you captain? That is a lovely team. Really, really nice team. I'd captain Salah. And if you're not captaining Salah, I would go Son. I think if I knew Son would play 80 minutes plus, I'd go Son. But just because I think there are slight doubts around his minutes, I'd probably go Salah. But if you're reading on Son's minutes is that he's going to get 75 to 80, I would personally go for Son. Hopefully that helps. And thank you for the birthday wishes for Pickle. Dave says, best defender going forward for 5.2 million who's not Ryan Aït-Nouri. I don't mind Matthias de Ligt for the next 3. I also like Lewis Hall. And I like Kirkes. I would go pretty cheap if you're not going to go for de Ligt, though. I like Kirkes and Lewis Hall for that cheap price. Ross, I'm going to change my bed sheets and vacuum, so if I miss something, you know why. Happy birthday. Yeah, that's fine, Pickle. That's fine. Right. Do you know what we should do while Pickle's not here? If you don't know who Pickle is, by the way, my girlfriend, we met through FPL. We met through my live streams over a year ago now. She was in my live streams. I snuck into her DMs. You know how it is. She's an avid FPL manager. She's also very active on Twitter. And it's also her birthday. So that's my little post for FPL Pickle. But go drop her a follow. She's almost at 10,000 followers, actually. Look at all the balloons as well. That's cute. Go drop her a follow. And she's very good at FPL. She finished 1.9k last year. Top 2k. And before you say that I had anything to do with that, I've never finished that high. So this was not my doing. Otherwise, I would finish that high every season. So this was all her. But yeah, go drop her a follow. Feel free to wish her a happy birthday. You can wish her a happy birthday on my post if you want. And yeah, I will be leaving straight after the deadline ends today because we're going to go out for a birthday, which is nice with her and her friends. So yeah, go drop her a cheeky follow, wish her a happy birthday, and hopefully she starts getting worse at FPL very soon because at the moment she is far too good. And if you want to know what Pickle looked like, because she doesn't come on the streams very often, there you go. That's what she looks like. But yeah, got her a cheeky happy birthday. Ross is punching so hard it's not even funny. Are you trying to say I'm ugly? Fair. Fair. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, Pickle saw that. I haven't left yet. Oh. Someone is punching Ross. I know she is, but don't be horrible. Listen, I know she's punching. Look at me. You lot aren't very nice to me. You're not very nice to me, chat. You're cute, Ross. Thank you. I try my best. God, at least someone thinks I'm cute. Right, where was I? Abdul says, hey, Ross, who would you recommend would you recommend a bench boost this week? Fabianski, Mikalenko, Vandenberg, Raul Jimenez. It's very, very close. I don't think that's quite high upside enough. Mikalenko and Vandenberg don't have much attacking threat. I think Fabianski concedes. And Raul Jimenez, it's not a standout fixture. I'd say I'd be 40% tempted to do that, but I would probably lean towards saying I'd hold off for a better week. But if you've got a bit of a gut feeling, I don't mind it. Are you ever not wearing your hat? There you go. Oh, my camera lagged just as I got my bald head out. That may be a sign. Yeah, I do not wear my hat quite often, actually, I'll have you know. But you're not being very nice to me, chat. You used to love Whistle. What's changed? Thiago is back post-international break, and that is the striker that Brentford spent a lot of money on. So I would be a little bit worried about Wissa's minutes in the... Okay, camera's still gone. About Wissa's minutes in the long term. Camera doesn't like the egg, apparently. It looks extra round on cameras. That's rude. Ross, let me marry you instead. I could do. If no one wants to love me, no. I'm taken. I'm taken by a pickle. That sounds really sus. Chat, would you like to see my pickle? That's so much creepier without the camera. Chat, do you want to see my pickle? Some of you would have seen my pickle before. You ready? It's going to come on camera. Oh. Oh. There he is. There's my pickle. I said this last time. If anyone's seen those Kermit the Frog videos on TikTok where Kermit just goes and he like gets his... Anyway, if you know the Kermit the Frog videos. They're fantastic. We're getting sidetracked here. Pretty accurate pickle. That's outrageous. Hairy pickle, though. It's a bit fluffy, yeah, for sure. You are a very attractive man, Professor Ross. Don't think we haven't all noticed. Thank you. I don't believe that for a second, but thank you. Is that Vincent? Yeah. No, that's not Vincent. Vincent's over there, just on the side. I'd have to get up to get Vincent. Anyway. God, what do these streams turn into? Mark says, hi, Ross. Raya, Trent, Colwell, Lewis, Salah, Foden, Rodgers, Mbermo, Rao, DCL, Haaland. Okay, it's a lovely team. Bench of Valdemarson, Van der Ven, Dibbling, Greaves. 1 free transfer. What are your thoughts? My thoughts are do Van der Ven to 8 Nuri if you've got the money. If not, I would go for Semedo, Lewis Hall, or Kirkers. I think you need to make a transfer this week because your defence is just really weak. You've got Colwell starting. You've got Van der Ven who's injured and Greaves on the bench. Yeah, I would do Van der Ven to 8 Nuri, Semedo, Lewis Hall, or Kirkers. Mark. Hatik says, hey Ross, your content has become a weekly ritual for me, and FPL Therapy is the best FPL pod on YouTube. I love to hear that, thank you. Dallo and Strand or Hall and Cunha. Also, is it worth it to remove Gabriel for Cunha? Gabriel for Cunha? Dallo and Strand for Hall and Cunha. In terms of that, I prefer Lewis Hall and Cunha. Is it worth removing Gabriel for Cunha? Gabriel who? The defender? Are you saying you have to sell Gabriel to make that move? I wouldn't want to sell Gabriel. I'm a little bit confused by the question, Hatik, but basically, I like Hall and Cunha, but I wouldn't do that if it requires you selling Gabriel. I'd rather go for Strand Larsen and keep Gabriel. By the way, in terms of Strand Larsen versus Cunha, I do still maintain Cunha's the better option, but there's not that much in it. And if you can do a lot with the extra 1.1 million, I'd go Strand Larsen. Who to bench out of Rodgers and McNeil? I would marginally lean towards starting McNeil, but I think it's very, very close. And we don't even know if McNeil's fit enough to start. He's apparently still suffering with this knee injury. I would just about lean McNeil, though. DJ Fit says, my bad. This is for the Sun team. Oh, Son is a forward on there. I'm thinking Rao to Son, but I'll have Haaland, Salah, and Son in my team. Captain. I see. Okay, so it's a different game. In that case, assuming the scoring system is relatively similar, I don't mind that at all. In terms of captaincy, it depends what the scoring system is again, but I would be very tempted by Son if you have him. As long as you think he gets 75 minutes. Because I just don't think 60 minutes of Son is better than 90 of Haaland and Salah. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream, please make sure to drop a like on it and make sure to subscribe as well. I do really appreciate it. Also, make sure to vote on the captaincy poll as well. We've had 3,500 votes. Currently 40% captaining Salah, 36% Haaland. We've got 18% Spurs attacker and then 6% other. What do you think of Haaland? Yeah, I really like Haaland as a transfer in. I think he'll start the next few. And I actually think he'll be a starter for Amorim as well. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. Kieran says, hi Ross, got 3 free transfers and I want to get Salah. Can either do Haaland and Foden to Cunha and Salah or Jackson and Foden to Gabriel. Sorry, Jackson, Foden and Gabriel to Cunha, Salah and Hall. Oh, I really don't like selling Haaland and Foden this week. I'm not going to lie to you. I think they could both do very well, but I probably prefer that slightly to selling Jackson and Gabriel because I think you want them from 12 and beyond. So I wouldn't do either, but if you're going to do one, I would do Haaland and Foden to Cunha and Salah. And yeah, I understand that obviously frees up the funds to get Saka, so I don't mind that. So I would say in order of my preference, neither, then the Haaland and Foden, then the Jackson, Foden and Gabriel one, Kieran. Hopefully that helps. And thank you for being a member and for the super chat. Very kind of you. Do we have any leaks on City? No, City don't play until 5:30, so let's wait an hour. In an hour, we might get something potentially. Fabianski or Onana? It's got to be Onana. Man United are the slightly better defence and they've got the better fixture. Good morning, Ross. Love it. Thank you, Will. I brought Solanke in for DCL. Should I captain? No one has him above me in my mini league or Salah. I own Johnson too from Spurs. I marginally prefer Salah captain to Solanke. And the only reason I say that is last week, everyone wanted to sell Solanke. Solanke had 3 shots in 4 games. And now just because he scored a brace and got an assist against Villa, he's now suddenly a better captain than Mohamed Salah and Erling Haaland. I don't know that I can buy into that. That being said, I would have Solanke in 3rd. So for me, Salah and Haaland are joint this week, very close. Then it's Solanke. So if you've got a bit of a gut feeling about Solanke, then I don't mind captaining him. But I just don't know if enough has changed for me to suddenly now say that he's the standout captaincy option this week. I think it's a great week to differentiate though, for sure. Discover with Sim says, I have 8 Nuri, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Porro, Palmer, Madueke, Semenyo, Mbeumo, Haaland, Vardy and Rao, Rodgers and Gabriel currently on the bench. What are your thoughts? That's a lovely team. I think the only, not even an issue there, but the only player that I wouldn't love is Vardy and Madueke aren't great this week. I would be tempted to play Rodgers instead of Madueke. Potentially, unless you're a Chelsea fan and you just want to back Madueke and Palmer. But I'd be slightly tempted to bench Madueke for Rodgers. But other than that, yes, a nice team. I think you should be fairly okay this week. You're missing some of the more like high upside picks this week, but it's not bad at all. 8 Nuri captain. 8 Nuri captain. That's outrageous. No, I wouldn't do that. I feel like if you're captain and a defender, they've got to have a very good chance for a clean sheet. And as much as it's a nice fixture, Wolves aren't a good defence. So I just would not be backing in a million years a clean sheet. And so even if he gets an attacking return, the upside isn't that high for me. Nicholas says, hi Ross, big fan. Start Leif Davis or Vandenberg. Oh, I mean, definitely Vandenberg for me. Leif Davis is a no-go this week for me. Yeah, definitely Vandenberg. Joseph Stack says, you're beautiful, Ross. I know for a fact Eric Ten Hag, Pep and Arne Slot model themselves after you. This is true. I'm the leader of the board gang. Thank you very much, though. I appreciate it. Dylan says, field 8 Nuri or Ola Aina. Wait, 8 Nuri or Ola Aina? Definitely 8 Nuri. 100% 8 Nuri. Don't worry about chat. You're a cutie pie. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate that. Just catching up on some of the super chats. Thank you. Yeah, I would definitely start 8 Nuri. I do like Ola Aina, and he could keep a clean sheet, but I think Newcastle score, and he's not got as much attacking threat as 8 Nuri. Could you do a Rodgers versus Semenyo on the hub? What, to buy or start? I don't even need to do that on the hub. Semenyo. Every day of the week. As a buy and to start, I would rather Semenyo. Liz Clark says, same team as you, except the defenders. Lewis, Gabriel, Mikalenko, Vandenberg, Reeves. 1 free transfer and 0.1 million in the bank. Transfer in 8 Nuri for Lewis this week. Yeah, I would get that done, Liz. I would absolutely. If I didn't have 8 Nuri, I would have already probably done Lewis to 8 Nuri. So yeah, Lewis to Nuri, get him in your team, and your defence is looking a lot better. Flapjacks has been a member for 22 months. Says, hi Ross, what do you think of this move? Trent to Nuri, Smith Rowe to Salah, Haaland to Cunha/Wissa, and McNeil to Son for a -4. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, by the way. Trent to Nuri, Smith Rowe to Salah, and Haaland to Cunha/Wissa, and McNeil to Son for a -4. I actually don't mind that. Nuri, Salah, Cunha, and Son is definitely better than Trent, Smith Rowe, Haaland, and McNeil. It's a lot of transfers, but I feel like it sets you up better in the long term. I would make the move and I would go for Cunha. Yeah, I would do that. Rio says, play Lewis and roll for 3 free transfers or swap for Mazraoui Hall. So you've got 2 free transfers this week. If I had 2 free transfers, maybe you still play him because he does have a chance of, I'll show you in a second. He does have a chance of starting. So yeah, maybe I would just roll. Thoughts on Mavadidi/Lewis to Kirkes Kulusevski? Yeah, I don't mind that. Listen, Kulusevski's got Man City next week, so you need him to go quite big this week because next week you're either going to bench him or you don't want him in the team. Hasn't Solanke got the most touches in the final third? The final third is a very big area for a forward. Like, you can say if a defender has the most touches in the final third is a good thing. A lot of those touches would have been in the deeper part of that final third, so that doesn't mean anything to me. Touches in the box is a very useful stat to look at. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah, I wanted to show you Luke's. Luke. Here we go. So Luke does, you can go and read this yourself. Just type in dis_FPL on Twitter. He's done a whole narrative, but he's basically said there's 4 possibilities this week in terms of how they could line up Man City. The first is if there's no Ake, Lewis goes in as a left back, Kyle Walker as a right back, and as I said, Gvardiol and Akanji are the 2 centre backs, and it means that Gvardiol is sadly for owners playing as a left centre back, and Rico Lewis is playing as a central midfielder, basically. All 3 of the other options involve no Rico Lewis, right? So we've got a similar situation here, but it's actually Kovacic that plays in the centre with Akanji. So Akanji steps up from defence and plays in there. Or would they play Gvardiol as a left winger with Gundogan stepping in and Akanji, Ake and Walker as the back line? Or, which is probably slightly more like a traditional looking team, I guess, they have sort of Gvardiol and Walker as traditional fullbacks with Ake and Akanji in the middle. So, to recap, I think the only chance we've probably got of a Lewis start, unless you just think he starts instead of Walker, but I just think against Matoma, I think Walker's going to start. The only chance we've got of a Rico Lewis start, I think, is if Ake's not fully fit. If Ake's fully fit, it doesn't look very good for a Rico Lewis start, I should say. So I feel like that's where we stand at the moment. Where's my thing? Where is my there? So in terms of what you want to do with Rico Lewis, I've put him on the bench because I just worry. But the thing is, his upside shouldn't be that high this week, even if he does start. Like, you probably expect Brighton to score. I don't know. Start Aina or Robinson? I'd probably go Robinson. Yeah, especially if you've got Isak, I'd go Robinson. Are you rolling? You Captain Haaland, what's your plans? I think I'm rolling this week. The only option I have is I could sell Rico Lewis for Mazraoui or De Ligt and just start them instead of Vandenberg, and it just gives me a stronger team this week. But then next week, let's say next week Haaland gets injured or I don't want Haaland anymore. If I want to sell Haaland and redistribute the funds, I'd like to have 2 free transfers to do that. So I just feel like 2 free transfers will be so useful for me post-international break that it might be worth fielding a slightly suboptimal team this week and just playing either Vandenberg or Lewis. In terms of captaincy, I'm still undecided, but I am leaning for Haaland captain at the moment. DK says, have Salah and Haaland. Am I nuts for wanting to captain Johnson? No, not at all. Listen, the Spurs game is probably going to have the most goals. If you're expecting a team to score 4 goals this week, it's probably not Salah. It's probably not Liverpool or Man City. It's Spurs. So yeah, don't mind it. HRSHV says, Flecken and Fabianski, 8 Nuri, Hall, Robinson, Gvardiol, Dunk, Salah Palmer, Mbermo, McNeil, Rogers, Haaland, Strand Larsen, Welbeck. That's a lovely team. Kind of similar to me, I guess. Got 3 free transfers. Thinking of going from Haaland, McNeil, Larsen to Isak, Saka, Cunha next week. Haaland, McNeil, Larson to Isak, Saka, Cunha. I love that, to be fair. I don't think you need to sell Larson, to be honest, but the Isak and Cunha... Sorry, the Isak and Saka for McNeil and Haaland, I do quite like that from next week. It's a really nice team. Yeah, I'd roll the transfer. I don't even think you need to make a transfer this week. You've got everything covered pretty much apart from Spurs attack. But listen, you can't have everyone. I really like your defence as well. 8 Nuri, Hall, Robinson, Gvardiol, Dunk. Your team is basically mine, but much, much better. So well done. It's like a much better version of my team. Bench 2, Gabriel Lewis, 8 Nuri, Porro, Aina. I'd bench Rico Lewis and Aina. And I'd start Gabriel, 8 Nuri, and Porro. I don't think you can bench 8 Nuri or Porro, and I think Gabriel's great. So. Raya or Fabianski? I think I'd start Raya just about. But if you've got Gabriel in your back line and you're thinking I don't want to double up on the Arsenal defence or something like that, then you could absolutely look to start Fabianski instead. Bruno Fernandes is a good pick. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes is a great pick. Temper your expectations. Bruno Fernandes isn't Salah or Haaland, but is he a great pick at his price? Yeah, absolutely. Kieran says, what would you change? Flecken, Kanate, Gabriel, 8 Nuri, Hall. Again, a lovely defence. Mbeumo, Palmer, Salah, Foden, McNeil, and Wood, Rao, Cunha. I've got 3.3 million in the bank. What would I change? I guess the only player that's a slight doubt / potential issue. Yeah, but you could just bench him this week. I was going to say it's maybe McNeil, but you've got Wood, Rao, Cunha, Mbeumo, Palmer, Salah, Foden. I don't think I'd change anything. Maybe, and this is only if you really wanted to attack the upside. You could do Foden. You could do Foden to Son, but I think Foden this week is absolutely fine. Do you know what? I wouldn't change anything, Kieran. I'd roll the transfer. Jeremy is just gifted 5 memberships. Taylor, Connor, Thomas, and Snickerboa, you have just been gifted a membership by Jeremy. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Look at that. If you do want to get gifted memberships, by the way, you have to be subscribed. You have to have recently messaged in the chat as well. Those are the 2 things. And then they are handed out at random. I did check. They are randomized, but you also have to... You have to be active in the chat and you have to be subscribed to get gifted. Also, there is a setting where you have to turn on gifted memberships, being able to get them as gifted to you. You might want to Google how to do that. But anyway, Jeremy, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I appreciate it. Sorry if the cam's a bit laggy, by the way. It's my classic computer. Also, someone has to gift them, by the way. It might be that no one else gifts any memberships for the stream, but I'm saying in order to receive them, you have to at least be active in the chat. Why is my computer dying? Can my computer stop that behavior, please? Start Aina or Kanate. Ooh, that's a tough one. I would probably start... I'd honestly be tempted to start Ola Aina there. I'd honestly be very tempted to start Ola Aina. Thoughts on Gabriel to 8 Nuri? It would free up a lot of funds. I don't mind it, but I feel like you've got to be able to do something with those funds. Like, it's one thing just saying it frees up funds, but unless you're really doing something useful, I probably wouldn't. Transfer Cunha or Solanke for a non-starter. I'd probably rather Cunha because you can keep him for the long term. Why is my computer absolutely dying inside? Yeah. It's not even my internet. It's just my computer. I do need a new computer. I keep saying I'm going to buy a new computer, but I don't every time. It's expensive. Hey, Ross, looking to move Haaland for another striker to fund Mavididi to Salah. Okay. Which striker would you recommend? Already own Rao and Cunha. Eva Nilsson's not a bad pick if you want someone at a cheaper price. Solanke for this week is great. Jackson in the long term I quite like. Strand Larsen's okay. I would be very tempted by Welbeck, but not a great fixture this week. Although I do expect Brighton to score. Maybe Welbeck's your best shout there to partner with Rao and Cunha. I feel like a lot of the other picks are a little bit short term. Please recap your best Manchester United defender transfer advice. I just think in the long term, De Ligt is the most nailed on, and he's got some attacking threat, so I would go for De Ligt. Then again, over the next few, Dalot and Mazraoui have got they've got so much upside with their fixtures. So I think over the next 3, you're fine with Dalot, Mazraoui, or De Ligt. But I feel like if you're looking for a long-term hold, De Ligt is probably the one. Vandenberg ahead of Lewis. At the moment, I'm leaning that way just because I don't know if Lewis will start. And the issue with Lewis is he will come on. He never just sits on the bench for the entire thing. So, yeah, I am probably leaning that way at the moment. Nikhil says, hey, Ross. Oh, I did that one, didn't I? Yeah, which striker? Okay, yeah. I'm caught up. Sorry about the lag. Hey, Ross, would you go Son for Palmer and go back next week? No, I would just keep Palmer personally. Unless you've got like 5 free transfers. That's the 4 or 5 free transfers. Yeah, feel free to take out Palmer and bring Palmer back in. But I wouldn't be doing that if it was if I only had 1 or 2 free transfers. I don't know why my computer's dying inside. Might be the end. Oh no, it's back slightly. Who knows? Start Rodgers or Watkins? If you're only starting one, it's got to be Watkins for me. Foden start. I'd be very surprised if Foden doesn't start, yeah. I'd be very, very surprised. Start Aina or Lewis. I'd start Ola personally there. Yeah, I think, listen, Mazraoui is great, but I just think in the long term, we just don't know if Mazraoui will definitely be nailed on to start. It could be it's Dalot and Luke Shaw as the wing-backs. Or it could be Garnacho and Dalot as the wing-backs. We know that he has potentially preferred midfielders to play those wing-back roles rather than defenders in the past. So Lewis is 10,000% starting. Probably now. Yeah, probably. Jeremy says, so tempted to captain Son, you can be sure Haaland's in for a monster haul. We're probably going to get the captaincy wrong. It's going to be very swingy this week, but I feel like you've just got to rock with it, you know? Do what you can. I'm going to turn my camera off for a bit. Let me see if this helps the lag situation. If it doesn't, I'll just chuck it back on. But I'm going to hope that this helps a little bit. Hopefully you can still hear me. Let me know if the audio cuts out. I think it's just the camera that's cutting in and out, not the audio, but let me know. Bro, is Semenyo going to play? Yeah, Semenyo will play, absolutely. Yeah, Semenyo will be fine. Unless I've missed something. Is this the final team? I think so. I think my major decision is just like, do I want captain Haaland or Salah? And then also, do I want to start Vandenberg or Lewis? I might run a poll, actually, on what you guys would do. Let me run a poll. By the way, captaincy, 41% on Salah, 36% Haaland, 18% on a Spurs attacker, and 6% on other. Perfect audio. That's great. Thank you for letting me know that. If the audio doesn't sound good, then let me know, and then that's an issue. Right. We are going to go for who would you start in my team? We have got Lewis against Brighton away, and we have Vandenberg against Bournemouth at home. Let me know who you would start if this was your team. I mean, is there part of me that wants to just start Leif Davis? Yes. Yes, there is. But I know that that's probably not the best situation. Not the best week to play him. I might start Dibbling over Rodgers. So just bear in mind, Bran, I've spoken to some Southampton fans, and they seem to be of the opinion that Dibbling could be benched again, which is why I'm not even tempted to put him first sub. So yeah, I do think that if Dibbling were to play, Dibbling might be marginally better than Rodgers, but I just don't know that he's going to start. I'm going to have 5 free transfers next week. Very nice, Zodiac. Give me a very, very flexible position. -4 for Garnacho. Is it worth it? To bring him in? No. I wouldn't bring him in or take him out for -4. If you've not got Garnacho, I wouldn't transfer him in, because I don't think he's nailed on to start. But if you've got him, I would definitely just start him and keep him. Brentford defence is just terrible. I would agree with that, but then again, Brighton attack are pretty good, and Man City aren't defending very well themselves. And also, Rico Lewis might not start. That's the concern, isn't it? I guess Vandenberg, I'm not necessarily expecting anything from him. I just think there's a good chance Rico Lewis doesn't start, and then it just feels like it's just dead, isn't it? Because he's going to get 1 point at that stage. Because there's no way he just stays on the bench. And at that stage, I'm just going to regret it. That's my only concern. But I guess Vandenberg's probably going to get a 1-pointer as well, isn't he? So maybe I do just attack the upside. Yeah, maybe I do. I don't know. It feels like it might be an obvious one either way, but it's probably not. Palmer to Bruno for the next 3 game weeks. No, I'd rather have Palmer from game week 12 and beyond. Next week, Palmer's got Leicester. I know Bruno's got Ipswich, but Palmer's just the better FPL asset, isn't he? Foden to Son. If you've got, like, I just think Foden could do quite well, but I've said that for a few weeks now. Yeah, I might be tempted to do Foden to Son. Did you ask your City contact if he's got news today, Ross? I could message him. Yeah, do you know what? Let me do that. He probably won't have news. If he had news, he'd probably be tempted to tweet it. I can ask him, though. Let me check. I just realised, because you can't see my face, I need to carry on talking, because otherwise you could just be spamming my keyboard. Any chance you'll find out before the deadline if Rico Lewis is starting or not? Right. Done. Saka's never a trap. Saka's great, yeah. I like Saka. Saka's the one player that I always feel like I should own when I don't own him. It doesn't feel great. Right, we have got a message from Jason. Who would you replace DCL with? Already got Cunha. I still think Strand Larsen is great, even if you've got Cunha. But if you don't want to double up, maybe Eva Nilsson you could go for. If not Eva Nilsson at that cheap price. I mean, if you can get to Welbeck, great. From next week, João Pedro might be back on the menu as well. I don't know. I still think I'd be tempted by Strand Larsen along with Cunha, you know. Hey, Ross, bench one of Rao or Ola Aina, Johnson or Cunha. Oh, sorry, bench one of Rao or Aina. Definitely bench Aina. I'd start Rao Jimenez. And then captain Johnson or Cunha. I think I prefer Brennan Johnson captaincy to Cunha captaincy. Personally. It's close, but I just prefer the Spurs game, to be honest. Wolves aren't the best attack in the league. And so whilst I expect them to beat Southampton, I'm not expecting Wolves to put like 6 or 7 goals past them. Whereas Spurs actually have that in their locker. What happened to your face? That's rude. No, joking. My computer's really struggling. If it settles down in a second, I'll bring my camera back. But it's just struggling with lag. I'd rather have no camera than really bad lag camera. So we'll see. It might settle down in a second. And then my face will come back. Ashley has become a Rap Tier 2 member. Thank you very much, Ashley. Welcome. I appreciate the support. Bricktop says Haaland, Buonanotte, Rogers for Saka, Bruno, Haaland -4. Have Palmer, Salah and Mbeumo already for a 3-5-2 with Rao up top, DCL on the bench. Oh, I'd be so tempted by that. If you weren't planning on captaining Haaland anyway, Bricktop, I'd be very tempted. That's just a lovely set of 3 transfers that just does improve your team. Hi, Ross. Foden to Son or DCL to Solanke/Rao? Oh, Foden to Son or DCL. Solanke. I would probably go DCL to... I'd go DCL to Solanke. I think, yeah, I probably would. I'm starting Davis. He will score. Join me, Ross. As much as I would love to, Dave, I'm not going to be starting Leif Davis this week, sadly. But I do think he's a... If you have to start him, you never know. He's so attacking. Phil with an F says Porro to a 4.5 or less defender and Smith Rowe to Son or Smith Rowe to Bruno and Roll. Oh, I'd go Smith Rowe to Bruno and Roll. I think I'd rather Bruno and Porro than I would Son and a 4.5 defender. And the extra transfer, yeah, I would just do Smith Rowe to Bruno. Haaland, Mbeumo or Solanke for captain. I'd go Haaland, then Solanke, then Mbeumo for me. Okay, we're going to try the camera again. The computer seems to have calmed down slightly. And we can see if we can introduce the camera back into our lives. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Because I know how much you must all miss my face. So let's see how we get on. Hello. It's me again. I'm back. Oh no, it just started struggling immediately again. Oh dear. Hi Ross, buy Garnacho, Semenyo or Smith Rowe. I would buy Semenyo, but do bear in mind that he's on 4 yellow cards. JSY says, have a good weekend. Thank you very much. Start Fabianski or Flecken. I would marginally lean Fabianski, but I think it's very close. And would you get Dallo or De Ligt for Lewis/Leaf Davis? Thanks. In the short term, the next 3, Dallo probably has the greater upside. But in terms of if you're looking for a longer term hold, I like De Ligt. And also, both Leicester and Everton are really poor defensively from set pieces. So De Ligt could get a bullet header in the next 3 games. I would probably prefer De Ligt to Dallo. But I could just foresee Dallo getting like 2 attacking returns in the next 3 and De Ligt's not doing much. So I don't want to say don't go for Dallo, but I would lean towards De Ligt. In terms of selling Lewis or Leaf Davis, I'd rather sell Rico Lewis, personally. Your face is ruining it. That's not very nice. Not a good team. Can we be nice to me? How about we say my face isn't ruining it and we say that my team is lovely? Have we considered that as an option? Do you reckon Bruno outscores Foden by 4 points by game week 14? Yes. Yeah, I do. Hey, bro, Palmer to Salah for a -4 this week. What are your thoughts? I wouldn't be selling Palmer this week. I know it must be very tempting if you don't have Salah to sell Palmer, but I just think Palmer from 12 is better than Salah. If you said I could only own one of Palmer or Salah from game week 12, I'd rather own Palmer. So it's a transfer you probably need to reverse, and then it's going to feel crazy selling Salah back to Palmer, isn't it? Especially in game week 12 when he's got Southampton. So thank you guys for all of the compliments. I love these streams. If I ever stopped making FPL YouTube content, I would miss the streams very much. I feel like that's the thing I'd miss most. Hey Ross, hope you're doing well. Is it worth DCL to Strand Larsen in your opinion? Absolutely, get it done. Get DCL in the bin. Could DCL return against West Ham? Of course he could. But we've been saying that for he's blanked 7 games in a row now, or 6 games in a row. Just get him sold for Strand Larsen, yeah. Because you could just say this every week. Oh, maybe DCL will score this week. Maybe he'll score. We don't even know if he'll start. It could be that Beto starts instead. No Bruno, start Haaland. Start Haaland? Yeah, I would start Haaland. Absolutely. Hey Ross, bench 2 of Rodgers, Aina, DCL, Hall and Lewis. I'd probably bench Rico, Lewis, and Ola Aina, and I'd start Rodgers, DCL, and Hall. I might start Lewis myself, because I don't think Vandenberg does anything. And so, whilst I don't think Rico Lewis starts, I think Rico Lewis will be on the bench. I don't know that. And I don't think Vandenberg probably gets more than 1 or 2 points anyway. So I am tempted to just give Rico Lewis the nod. We'll see how I feel like that. What's the poll saying? Let me have a look at the poll. 62% of you think I should start Lewis, 38% Vandenberg. Yeah, so maybe you're right, guys. Why would I ever doubt you? You guys are always right. We don't do ifs and maybes. We don't do ifs, buts and maybes. We do absolutes. It's true. I was going to try and do a Scouse accent, and I thought I don't want to insult anyone, you know? My Scouse accent isn't the best. Who was your favourite mark from school? And Dom or Brennan Catton. Mark Hayden. Hello, Mark, by the way. Good to see you. Who was your favourite mark from school? It has to be Mark. I think you were the only Mark, but welcome. This is nice that people from school tune into the streams. And Dom or Brennan Cap. I wonder if there's some price element coming into this and also recency bias, but I think I would prefer Dominic Solanke captain to Brennan Johnson, but it is very close, honestly. It is very close. Have Sells, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Aina, Mikalenko, who to start? I think you've got to bench. I'd bench Mikalenko and start Aina because it's just a better defence. The Forest defence is just better. Palmer, Saka, Semenyo, Mbeumo, DCL, Rao, Haaland with 0.2 in the bank and 1 free transfer. Thinking DCL to Strand Larsen or roll and be aggressive next game week. As per before, if you've got DCL, he's got to go for me. I would just sell DCL for Strand Larsen. And once again, I would not be surprised if he scores against West Ham, but I just think each week you're just saying the same thing. I think just get rid of him. And Strand Larsen against Southampton could do a lot of damage. Start Lewis or Mikalenko. It's a similar position to what I was in with Vandenberg. I don't see them keeping a clean sheet. Everton and Mikalenko. So I'd probably start Rico Lewis for the upside. Luke says Foden, Gabriel and Lewis to Salah, Aitnuri and Mazraoui. If it's for free, I don't mind it, Luke. Otherwise, I wouldn't. If it's for a hit, I wouldn't be a massive fan of that. But you are getting Salah. I tell you what I don't like. I think Foden could do well this week, and I quite like the idea of keeping Gabriel, so I'm a bit hesitant on that one. Mahir says 3 free transfers. I've got 2 options. Haaland, McNeil, and Kai. Okay, to Isak, Salah, and 1 more cheap forward. Any advice? Or Kai to Isak, captain Haaland, bench McNeil, and have 3 free transfers over the break. Please help me. Love your face. Thank you for loving my face. In terms of, if it were my team, I wouldn't make the moves. I would probably do something like Kai to Isak, and I would just hope that Haaland goes big and Salah has an off day. And it can happen, by the way. It hasn't happened recently, but it can happen. I just think those 3 free transfers post-international break will be super helpful. Yeah, I would just make the 1. You could even sell McNeil for a high upside midfielder this week if you wanted to keep Kai as well. I think it's very, very close me here, but I think I would probably just make the 1 move. Did DCL to Isak? What are your thoughts? Love it. Isak is fantastic. Michalis is my neighbour. He should just shout how he should pronounce his name. Good morning. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate you. And sorry for always recording my videos really loud. You must hear me every time I record. But thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. You basically get a live show if you just put your ear to the wall. If you're wondering what that is, my neighbour, literal next door neighbour, watches my content, which is pretty cool. You guys are everywhere. Every time I leave the house now, I meet some of you guys, which is amazing. It is still a very surreal feeling, I will admit. Ross, would you play Rodgers or risk a Diaz start? Diaz was so good midweek, but I've got a feeling he doesn't start again. Oh, I would play Rodgers, but I think that is, again, a very close one. Craig says, good afternoon, Ross. Hope you're good. Sold DCL and Lewis for Hall and Cunha. Okay, really like those. Tempted to captain Johnson over Salah. What do you think? Firstly, love the transfers, Craig. Secondly, I do not mind Johnson over Salah. My concern with Johnson over Salah is that Salah has more routes to points. The penalties, he's got goal threat and assist threat. Johnson is very reliant on just open play goals, which he has been getting. I still think I prefer Salah to Johnson, but it's not crazy to captain Johnson instead. No, I really don't. Listen, guys, Spurs attackers for captaincy is absolutely fine with me. Got no major issue with that at all. No major issue. I still think Son, like if you told me every player in the league gets 90 minutes this week, which doesn't happen, I know, but if you told me everyone gets 90, Son is the standout captain, for sure. But we just don't know how many minutes Son's going to get, which is why I throw it back to you and I say it comes down to how you interpret the minutes. If you think Son gets 75 plus, I'd go Son. If you think he gets less than 75, I would go for Haaland, Salah, or Solanke instead. That's basically it. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe as well. We are very close to 138,000 subscribers. So, or do we hit that? No, we're 37 away. If 37 of you could please subscribe, that would be amazing. I'd really appreciate that. Should I do 8 Nuri to Gabriel? I assume you mean the other way around, and I wouldn't do that transfer, no. McNeil. We haven't had an update on McNeil. The fact that Sean Dyche didn't mention McNeil in the presser is normally a good sign. Are you locked in captaining Haaland? I'm like 90% sure I'm going to captain Haaland. Unless I hear something in the next 10 minutes that really puts me off. Next 10 minutes? Next hour. Next hour that puts me off, then I would, yeah, I'll probably just captain Haaland. Opinions on Ahmad. So Ahmad went off with a knock on Thursday, and then Rude said that they're going to assess him. I've got a feeling that if Ahmad's fully fit, Ahmad will start. Absolutely. He's been so good. But is he fully fit? We don't know. And then under Amorim, I could see a situation where Bruno Fernandes plays one of the wing roles, which means you've only got one then left for Ahmad, Garnacho, Anthony, Rashford. I think that's it. We've got any other wingers? I think that's it. So there's 4 players basically for one position if Fernandes plays an advanced wing role. The same person spamming McNeil just is so busy spamming McNeil that they're not even listening to the fact that we just spoke about McNeil like 30 seconds ago. Is Bruno Fernandes a good option in place of an injured Palmer? I don't think Palmer's going to miss out. Like, if I knew Palmer was going to miss out, then yes. Right, you're getting muted from the timeout. Timeout until you think about the fact that you're spamming McNeil, even though we've just spoken about McNeil. Can you talk about McRoss? Now I want a McCrispy. Right, now you're making me think about McDonald's. What was the question? I can't remember what the question was. Complete ADHD moment. Hi, Ross. Start Semenyo or Rogers? Definitely Semenyo for me, Dave. Semenyo's great. Semenyo is absolutely great. Now everyone's just spamming McNeil. For goodness sake. Should I captain Solanke? I think Solanke is the third best captaincy option this week after Haaland and Salah. So if you don't fancy either of those, then yeah, go for it. Do you think we'll get Palmer news before the deadline? So I was told that Chelsea were training at 11 a.m. today. They've either not trained at 11 a.m. or they have, and we're just yet to get an update. So let me check Twitter. Let me see if I can see anything. Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet. So they're either not training at 11 a.m. and they're training later today for some reason, or it's just not been leaked yet as to whether he was present in that training session. Ross, do you think the Jackson's Palmer double up is viable from Game Week 12? Absolutely. Hopefully. I was going to say, I don't think I can get Jackson next week, really. So what I may be hoping is that Jackson gets suspended for Game Week 13 against Villa, and then we can look to bring him in for 14 from Southampton. But this is the thing. Jackson's on 4 yellows, along with Semenyo, Dibbling, 8 Nuri, a couple of other players, Dan Burn, I think. There are a few players on 4 yellows, and it is something to monitor. It's not something that would massively put me off a player, but it could do enough. Like, if you're bringing a player in for like 3 or 4 games and they're on 4 yellows, you don't know that they're not going to get suspended and miss one of those good games. Andreas says, Mbermo to Salah and Watkins to Strand Larsen for free. Got Haaland and all other options. I don't like selling Mbermo, so no. If there was another route to get Salah, I'd absolutely look at it. But selling Mbermo, I don't see that I would want to do that. Mbermo's great. Like, look at how many points he's got this season. It's a joke. Isn't he the joint second top scorer in the league as well? The man's got 8 goals. He's also really creative, Brian Mbermo. 0.24 expected assists per 90. So if he can add a couple of assists in there along with these goals, I will just say he's got 3.8 XG this season with 8 goals. He's overperforming his XG by 4.2. And people will say, this is why XG is nonsense. Remember when I said Haaland was really overperforming his XG? This is what happens. XG catches up with you. You can't overperform at such an insane rate consistently. So Mbermo's returns will probably drop off slightly, but his data is still really strong at 0.62 XGI. So I don't think I would want to sell Brian Mbermo, basically. Sorry. Addy says, hi Ross, can you suggest replacements for DCL? I have 1 free transfer and no money in the bank. I think it's Strand Larsen. Can you afford Ethan Nilsson? I think it's basically just Strand Larsen, really. João Pedro, if you don't have to start them this week, because I think from Game Week 12 and beyond, João Pedro will be back fit. I do think he will be a starter for them, but the issue is we don't know that he definitely will be back fit quick enough. You know, if he's back fit, does he start in 12? Does he start in 13, 14? Son always overperforms his XG. He does usually, but not to that rate. No one's usually over 100 and whatever that is, 110%, 120% above their XG. No one performs at that crazy rate. We can sometimes see an overperformance of like 20 to 30% over their XG, which is what we see with Son and Haaland. But that is an outrageous overperformance. What made you switch Vandenberg for Lewis? I think the fact that Ake's a doubt and that he might not start, and the fact that I think Vandenberg probably only gets a 1-pointer anyway. So if Vandenberg probably doesn't get me much, I'm not expecting a clean sheet for Vandenberg, and he's not got that much attacking threat, I might just start Lewis in the hopes. Because Lewis, if he plays, has greater upside than Vandenberg, obviously. Hi, Ross. Keep up the good content, mate. Thank you very much. Thinking about Haaland, DCL, and McNeil to Salah, Solanke, and Cunha for a -8. I mean, that's a massive set of upgrades, but I wouldn't take a -8, no. Sorry. Listen, I really do prefer the 3 players you're bringing in, but to lose 8 points and you're selling Haaland as part of that, and if McNeil plays, he's fine. I would just do like DCL to Cunha or Strand Larsen if that were my team. But I don't want to put you off of it, because could Salah, Solanke, and Cunha outscore Haaland, DCL, McNeil by 8 points? They absolutely could. They absolutely could. Why Haaland over Salah for captaincy? Thanks for the stream. Thank you very much for the other super chat, Liz. I would say Haaland and Salah for me are very, very equal. And when I look amongst other content creators in my mini leagues, engaged managers, those that I feel like I am directly competing with, most of them have sold Haaland. And even if they've sold Haaland, even if they've not sold Haaland, they're still looking to captain Salah instead. So I see an opportunity here where I don't think there's much between Salah and Haaland to just back the one that, again, amongst engaged managers, if I can get my words out, he will be the lower captain player. Move with Mike says, play Gabriel, Aina, 8 Nuri, bench Lewis. What are your thoughts? I would play... Yeah, I'd definitely start those 3 ahead of Lewis, I think. I think so, yeah. Definitely 8 Nuri and Gabriel. Aina versus Lewis is tough, but I still think I would start Ola Aina because he's just playing for a very good defence. Triple Captain McNeil or double bench boost McNuckle. For God's sake. Neither of the above. Cunha or Semenyo captain? Semenyo was a monster versus City. He was, but I also thought that Brentford were marginally better defensively. I know they conceded a few chances towards the end, and like Flecken made so many saves, but they didn't actually concede that many high XG chances. I think I still prefer Cunha to Semenyo for captaincy. I think the fixture is better. Tommy C says, Lewis to 8 Nuri or another defender up to 5 million, thanks. Yeah, Lewis to 8 Nuri is a great transfer this week. I've got no issue with that. How much time until the deadline? You've got just over 45 minutes until the deadline. Just over 45 minutes till the deadline. Do we have any Jared Bowen news? No, nothing yet. There were rumours going around that he might not be available, weren't there? Which is obviously not ideal if you've got Fabianski as well, because that'll make them weaker overall. Although he might make more saves as a result. Cunha it is on your head. I'm used to people blaming me when their decisions go wrong. Go for it. If you all want to blame me for your decisions, that's part of my job responsibility. You know, everyone's got part of their job that they don't like. That's fine. No, in all seriousness, though, I think when your entire job revolves around giving people advice, you can't be too upset if they blame you when that doesn't go well. So I understand it. He'll start Bowen even if he has one leg. He needs a result. Yeah, this is true. But if he is genuinely injured, then there's nothing he can do. Do you think Rico Lewis will start? I would put Rico Lewis at a 40% likelihood to start. So I would say he's more likely to be benched than start, but I don't think it's like 100% he's going to be on the bench. Sells versus Fabianski, cutie pie. Thank you for saying cutie pie. I would go Sells. Whoa. What's Shazam doing here? Shazam with the humongous super chat says, I made it here, yeah. Just wanted to say thanks for the streams. I hope you have a great weekend and a huge green arrow. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That is wonderful. You shouldn't have done that, but thank you so much. I feel like I should be sending you that super chat. Thank you for all of your support over the last, I don't know how long it has been, 12 months? Maybe more than that? I just appreciate you very much, so thank you. It's crazy. Crazy. Delap and Foden to Cunha and Bruno. I have 4 free transfers. Yeah. If you've got 4 free transfers, I don't mind that couple. I don't mind that at all. Foden to KDB. I don't think KDB will start. I think Foden will start, so I wouldn't do that, no. But maybe in the coming weeks, if KDB can build his fitness up. Triple captain Buonanotte. Don't disrespect. Don't disrespect. Are they playing Man United? There you go. He definitely meant to do £5. No, Shazam is a very generous man. That was definitely deliberate. Don't you worry. Move with Mike says, thanks for all the content. I'm a Brighton fan and going to the game tonight. Feel we've got a great chance, so I've done DCL to Welbeck. What are your thoughts? Love that. Cunha had a chance against Man City. Listen, every team that play Man City, they get chances. So the fact that you've now got Welbeck in place from 12 and beyond, and you're going to the game, I like it a lot, Move with Mike. That's exactly the sort of pick that I like in FPL. I say this every week, but we don't realise sometimes that FPL is meant to be fun as well. This isn't the only reason I'm making the decision to captain Haaland, by the way, but I'm going to celebrate my girlfriend's birthday. She's got Haaland captain. She's an Aston Villa fan. I don't want to be cheering on Salah during her birthday meal and when we're going out for drinks. So there is part of the fun element there. Like, I'd rather captain the same player as her. So I don't think there's any issue with... You don't always have to make the perfect optimal move every week. And I know I'm partially responsible for this because I talk about XG and AI transfers and this and that. Just have some fun with FPL, for goodness sake. Like, only one person is going to win, and it's probably not anyone in this stream, no offense. So if you're not going to win FPL, just have some bloody fun with it. And if a certain move makes you enjoy the weekend more, then just go for it, you know? Yeah, if you support a club and you're like, I would really like to have a player that plays for my club, just go for it, you know? But I also do think Haaland's a great captain this week, by the way. Again, that's not the only reason. Have Haaland and Salah but want to captain in Burma. Am I mad? No. Listen, if your comment is, I have Haaland and Salah but want to captain this player, am I mad? Unless it's a stupid, like, I don't know, McGinn against Liverpool or something like that. He's going to score a goal now, isn't he? If it's something crazy, then yeah, maybe not. But if it's someone like Mbermo, Strand Larsen, Cunha, even like Palmer, like if you just got a feeling, then go for it, you know? Best forward replacement, if I remove Haaland, I would probably go for Alexander Isak as my favourite, or Cunha. Isak or Cunha. This week it's Solanke, but it's not a great long-term move. Hi, Ross. Who to start, Fabianski or Flecken? I think if you look at the clean sheet odds, we can actually bring those up now. Help you with your decision. Rob T, FPL. Clean sheet odds. Can you see that? You can just about see that. So the clean sheet odds for Fabianski is 28%. The clean sheet odds for Flecken is 19%. So yeah, there's a 9% greater, according to the bookies, which, and by the way, the bookies obviously don't get everything right every week. There's a greater chance of a West Ham clean sheet than a Brentford clean sheet. However, if we were then to jump over to Fantasy Football Hub, sort by goalkeepers, and then go FPL, in terms of saves per 90, saves per 90, hide low mins players, Fabianski might have it. Let's just search it. Fabianski makes 3 point... Oh, he's only played 3 times, hasn't he? So Fabianski's averaging 3.6 saves per 90, and Flecken is averaging... Jesus Christ. Flecken's averaging 5.4 saves per 90. Like, that's madness. Like, Flecken... Like, the closest to Flecken is Ramsdale with 4.25, then Hermansen with 4.2. So if you're just going based off clean sheet odds, I'd start Fabianski. If you're going based off the fact that if you're going based off like save potential and haul potential, Flecken makes a lot of saves. So is Mazraoui 100% starting? I would never say any player is 100%, but I'm 99% sure Mazraoui will start this week, yeah. New option, says Andreas. Gabriel to Fass, Smith Rowe to Salah, Watkins to Strand Larsen for free. I'm still going to say no to that because I just don't like selling Gabriel, especially for Fass. Like, that's a move that from 12 and beyond you'll regret doing. I'm still going to say no, but that's not an awful move, especially as it allows you to get to Salah. So, depends how much you want Salah, and it depends if that's your only route to Salah as well, Andreas, I suppose. DCL to Welbeck or bank the transfer? Your eyelashes. Thank you. DCL to Welbeck. Yeah, I probably would. I honestly would. I do think that's a move that you could wait until next week if you wanted to. Ross, how about a captaincy poll? We already did one for the first 45 minutes of the stream. Salah was 40%, Haaland was 33%, Spurs attackers were 18%, and then the rest was other. It's very split captaincy. If it's leaked that Lewis is benched, will you make a free transfer? If I think that Lewis is benched for whatever reason, and I might still do this anyway, I think I'll just play Vandenberg. I don't think I'm going to make a transfer this week. And the reason I say that, Leicester have scored in every single Premier League game this season. Why do I think Man United will be the team to stop them? So I think Leicester could score. They seem to score in most games. And so if I think they're going to concede, I don't think they've got enough attacking threat to justify it. The other option is Lewis Hall. And I just think Forest are in good form. Chris Wood's probably going to ruin my weekend once again. I don't really back Lewis Hall to do that well this week. So I just feel like all of the transfers that I make this week, they don't really massively benefit my team. So yeah, if we get news that Lewis isn't going to start, or I think for whatever reason that he's not going to, then I'll probably just start Vandenberg. Son or Bruno, Wood or Solanke, pick 2. Son or Bruno, Wood or Solanke. For this week, Son and Solanke. In the longer term, I think Bruno and Wood. So it depends what you're looking for. Start Milenkovic or Anderson. Oh, that's a close one. That's a very close one. I'd start Milenkovic because they're the better defence. And he's also got more attacking threat as well. Thoughts on Bruno for this week and the future? Great transfer. We really don't have any issue with Bruno. You just got to be prepared that he's very frustrating to own. Even if he's playing better in United, even in Bruno's peak, he's still a very frustrating own because he creates so many chances. And if you watch Manchester United, I'm not necessarily saying you will or you should, but if you watch United, it always feels like he could have had more. So he's a very frustrating own. But if you can get around that, and especially if you don't plan on watching too many Man United games, then I think he is a great transfer in. Bench 1, Mikalenko, Gvardiol, 8 Nuri, Aina, Wood. Oh, that's so... Well, definitely not Chris Wood, definitely not 8 Nuri, definitely not Gvardiol. It's Mikalenko or Aina. I would probably bench Mikalenko and start Ola Aina just because, again, Forest are one of the best defences in the league. Richard says, love the content. Thank you very much. Watching from Australia. Australia is one of those places I really want to go to, Richard, but I'm just so terrified of those. I wouldn't even call them spiders. They're genuinely bigger than most cats in the UK. They're like, why are they? You know, you see those videos of people with the Tupperware pots when they like put them on the ceiling and the spider. Oh, I just couldn't do it. But I do want to visit Australia. I would just need someone to protect me from the spiders. Thoughts on Maddison's minutes this week? My prediction as of right now is that Maddison will be benched. There's 2 reasons for that. Spurs just look better when one of Maddison or Kulusevski start. And the second reason is because Spurs don't have many attackers coming off the bench because Moore, Odegaard, Richarlison, etc. are all at Timo Werner are all out. I feel like it's nice to have one of your attackers on the bench to come on. So I think Maddison will be benched. But he could do damage off the bench. And I just don't know. There is also a world in which he starts. Would you choose Saka and Wissa, Welbeck, or Fernandes and Isak going forward? I think Saka and Welbeck's probably your slightly better combination. But Fernandes and Isak is 2 penalty takers with really good underlying data and fixtures. But I think Saka and Welbeck is marginally better, probably. I just think Saka's great. I think people are disrespecting Saka. I know I sold him, by the way, but I'd love to have Saka back in the team. Ross, you're scaring me. What did I do? Oh, about the spiders, was it? Yeah, I do. You might disagree. I think the Spurs team will be Solanke, Son, Johnson, Kulusevski, Sarr, Bentancur, Udogi, Davis, Romero, probably Dragusin actually, Romero, Porro, Vicario. There's the starting 11 for Spurs. You're welcome. It's just a guess. But I think Maddison will be on the bench, and I think they'll start with Sarr and Bentancur as the 2 slightly more defensive-minded players. MN Chuckster says, hi Ross, currently 2.8 million in the world, so going with a differential captain. That's not too bad, by the way, rank-wise. I was 2.1 last week, I'm now down to 1.3. 1 or 2 good weeks and you're back in the top 1 million, so don't stress about the rank. Would you rather captain Cunha or Johnson? I have Haaland, but in his current form, it might be worth the risk going against him. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much. I think I prefer Johnson to Cunha, but I equally don't mind the idea of, even with your rank, just captaining Haaland. So for me, in those players, I would say Haaland, Johnson, Cunha. But if you really do want to go against Haaland, which isn't an issue, by the way, I do marginally prefer Johnson to Cunha. Sell Lewis for Dallo or Ryan 8 Nuri, or just start Lewis, 2 free transfers. If you've not got 8 Nuri, I would do Lewis to Ryan 8 Nuri for free, yeah, for sure. Start Delap or DCL, or Isak for a -4. Oh... I'd probably start DCL. I don't even know if he'll start, but I wouldn't want to take him out for a -4, really. If it was for free, it's an easy transfer. But the thing is, if DCL, let's just say DCL plays, gets 60 minutes and does nothing, So that's 2 points. Then you take into account the 4-point hit. Even if Isak gets a 9-pointer, he's still only getting 3 more points than the hit's worth. And that's assuming that DCL does blank, and that's assuming that Isak returns. I don't love taking hits. And I say this, last year I took a -12. The year before that I took a -20. I do take hits, but there's got to be really good justification to do so. So, Dibbling to Garnacho. I wouldn't bring in Garnacho this week, no. Or Lewis and Dibbling to Fernandes and Mazraoui for a -4. Oh, yeah. Wait, what Fernandes is that? You've put Fernandes with a Z. If that's Bruno Fernandes, Lewis and Dibbling to Bruno Fernandes and Mazraoui, if you can afford that somehow, then yes. But I'm assuming that that's maybe a different Fernandes. I don't know. 1 free transfer. Do Keane to 8 Nuri or McNeil to Semenyo? Ooh. I would probably go Keane to 8 Nuri. That's very, very close, but I would go Keane to 8 Nuri, just about. Hey, Ross, thanks for all... Oh, sorry. Hey, Ross, thanks for all that you are doing to make FPL fun. You are more than welcome, Krista. Quick dilemma for me. Rank 62k. Captaincy options are Son, Solanke, and Salah. What are your thoughts? 62k. Wow. If you're looking to protect, Salah's the captain. If you're looking to attack and chase, Son or Solanke are the captain. So it really depends what you're trying to achieve with your season. I maintain that Son is the best captaincy if he gets the minutes. But if you are slightly doubting his minutes, then maybe you just go Salah or Solanke. For me, if I were to order them, I would go Salah, Solanke, Son. But that's just because I'm doubting Son's minutes. If I knew Son's minutes were better, I'd put him all the way to the top. But well done on that rank, by the way. 62k is incredible. Bin Brereton Diaz as he's a minutes risk. Thoughts? Oh, yeah. If you've still got Brereton Diaz, he's got to go, sadly. I thought he might be good this season, but he's just not had the minutes under Russell Martin, has he? Have we had any news on Palmer, Ross? No, nothing. My source doesn't have anything on Rico Lewis, sadly. I basically think if Ake's fit, Ake plays and Lewis is benched. If Ake's not fit, then... Sorry, I was just looking at... it's completely zoned out. Yeah, it's basically dependent on Ake's fitness. You lie. I can read out the exact DM. The exact DM was, I don't, mate. It's between him and Ake. Don't think it was decided, depending on Brighton's setup. I'd guess it's going to be Walker right back, because Ake versus Rico will be left back. That's what he said. So he's got absolutely no news there. Nothing on Palmer yet, but I'm keeping my eyes peeled for it. Gvardiol centre-back then. If Ake's out, then yeah, it kind of has to be Gvardiol centre-back. But that again is all dependent on whether Ake's available or not. Pope or Onana? I'd start Onana. Dave says, surely Son only gets subbed 75 minutes if Spurs are 2-3 up, in which case he's already got a lot of points already. You say that, but he was subbed off in the 55th minute when it was 1-1, wasn't he? I think it was 1-1 in the Spurs game when he was subbed off last time. So no, I don't think the Son getting subbed is dependent upon the performance. I think it's dependent upon whatever they've planned and how leggy he looks, I guess. No Gvardiol. Gvardiol will start regardless. Gvardiol will either be playing left back, left wing back, or left centre back. Sorry, left wing, left back, or left centre back. Right, Gvardiol will be playing. You don't need to worry about Gvardiol. He's got to start pretty much. But Rico Lewis is just fully dependent on Ake. Hey Ross, who would you start if you had both Fabianski at home versus Everton or Sells at home versus Newcastle, considering both defences? Yeah, I think considering the defensive strength of Nottingham Forest, you start Sells for me. It's obviously the better fixture for Fabianski, but Ross, you said Lewis is at 8 Nuri is worth it. Yeah, Lewis to 8 Nuri is worth it for me. But I still don't know if Lewis starts, but I would still make the move because I just don't know. That's a really good question, Josh. I'm going to copy that. Josh has asked, how do you envision the future of FPL amid its recent surge in popularity? Do you anticipate any transformative shifts or any innovations that could redefine both the game and fan engagement? Do you know the reason I'm copying that, Josh? Is on Monday, I'm recording an episode of FPL Therapy with Harry and Oscar, and we'll chat about that then. Hello. Okay, it's not letting me copy it. In that case, then apparently I won't. Copy. Paste. Why are you not copy pasting? Paste. Oh, that's why it's in. Okay, we're good. I've got you. Josh, we're going to answer that. So yeah, by the way, if you've not yet checked out FPL Therapy, cheeky little pug, I have an in-person FPL podcast this season. So go subscribe. And if you know FPL Harry and FPL Foster? Where'd that go? FPL Focal, we are doing a 3-person podcast on Monday. Here you go. Go subscribe. Yeah, we've got 2 guests for the first time ever. So there'll be 3 of us on the pod. Me, Harry, and Oscar, all talking FPL. So yeah, go subscribe. Come on, give us some Palmer news. Give us some Palmer news. Oh, so wait, let me answer this question, then I'll show you. This might be enough for me. Oh, there's a few questions I've missed actually. Okay, Captain Haaland, Bruno, Son, and Burmo. Haaland, Son, Bruno, and Burmo in that order. Shaunax says, wildcard next week. Should I take a -4 for Foden, Havertz to Bruno, Cunha, or use free hit for Haaland, Wolves, United, Spurs? I would only free hit if you really need it. My team has Garnacho, Salah, and Burmo, Foden, forwards, Wissa, Havertz, Watkins. I don't know that that's a free hit. Nah, especially when you're wildcarding next week. Nah, I'd leave it. I would just take a -4. If you, to be honest, I wouldn't even sell Foden. I would just do Havertz to Cunha. Havertz to Cunha and then leave it. I wouldn't even take the hit, Shaunak. I don't think I'd be free hitting there personally, unless you really want to. Nasha says, Pickford, Aina, Salah, Bruno, Son, and Burmo, Cunha, Evanilson, Watkins, Son, Gabriel. What are your thoughts, Ross? Great content as usual. It's a beautiful team. I love the Cunha, Evanilson picks. Watkins could do well this week. Bruno and Son and Salah. Yeah, love it, mate. Really, really nice team. No issues at all. Hi, mate. Start Adama versus Rodgers or hit for a 7.5 midfielder. If it's for a hit, Andy, I probably wouldn't do it. I do like Gordon at 7.2. I would probably start Rodgers instead of Adama, believe it or not. BJ says, hey, Ross. 2 questions. Fabianski/Flecken. I would marginally lean towards Fabianski, but it's very close. And then Semenyo or Rodgers. I would start Semenyo ahead of Rodgers. Right, let me just show you this from Luke. You know that guy earlier that I said is very good for predicting City stuff? He said, I'll nail myself to the mast then for old time's sake. Going to assume that injuries mean Lewis plays and go for this. Not sure on attackers, to be honest. Nunez and Gundogan could easily feature. Good luck all. So that is his prediction. Again, to back up Luke and to explain what I've been saying, if Ake is fit, I think Ake starts instead of Lewis, and then in that case, it will be a Kanji that steps up into midfield. Or it could be that Gvardiol plays a more advanced role, and Bernardo Silva or Foden drops deep, and Gvardiol plays as like a left winger. Either way, if you've got Gvardiol, I think you're safe. I think Kyle Walker should start this game to deal with Matoma. So it really is either Lewis or Ake, I think, in the team. But Luke is guessing Lewis. We'll see. Oh, camera's gone. Right, let's get back to your questions. How long have we got till the deadline? We've only got actually 25 minutes till the deadline. Bloody hell. Not long at all till the deadline. I think I'm going to stick it like... Do we have any early City team news? No. We've got no early team news on any of the teams, actually, believe it or not. Literally got nothing. Lewis Hall. Yeah, I really like Lewis Hall as a pick. I really like Lewis Hall. No issues there. My camera's... Why? Why are we behaving like this? I need to get a new computer. I really do. Sorry. You know how it is. Thoughts on Semedo? I really like Semedo if you can't afford 8 Nuri, but I wouldn't bring Semedo in if you can afford 8 Nuri. I still think 8 Nuri is the standout. Like, if you look at the data, 8 Nuri is just the better pick. But yeah, if you can't afford him, if you're looking for a 4.5 defender or below, I think it's Semedo, 8 Nuri, or Kirkez. They would be my top 3 picks, 4.5 and below. Semedo's 4.5, Kirkez is 4.4, and Lewis Hall is 4.3. Strand Larsen versus Cunha. Cunha is the better pick, but if you can do a lot with the 1.1 million that you save, I would go for Strand Larsen. I think Strand Larsen's fine. Ross, did you see that the FPL Fan League, including you, is second on the best team ranking? Is it actually? Let me have a look. Is that true? Oh, chat, it is. Look at this. Chat. Look how exciting this is. We're on the best leagues page. We're gonna screenshot that. We're gonna soak that up. FPL Raptor, we are the second best league. Look at this. We're going to push that in there. We're going to say, I need to administer the league, don't I? One sec. This is exciting. If you've not joined the league yet, by the way, where is it? YouTube.com FPL Raptor. Invite people. It's KNBG94. Make sure you have joined the mini league. That's pretty cool. Thanks whoever told me that. That's insane. Right, here we go. Make sure you've joined. It's KNBG94. Make sure you are in the mini league. I don't even tweet about it ever as well. Boom. Done. That's pretty funny, especially as I'm doing so badly. This just means I give fantastic advice, you know? How do they work it out? It's basically... It's worked out as the average of the top 5 players in the league. So it isn't like everyone in the league's doing well. It just means that we should actually check. The top 5 in my league must be ranked. Are any of you the top 5? It means that the top 5 are doing really, really well. Let's have a look quickly. Leagues. So top of my top of my league is first in the world. Brendan. Is Brendan here? Brendan's first in the world. Second in my league is 8th. Wow, 8th. Third in my league is 9th. Fourth in my league is 29th. And fifth in my league is 120th. If any of you are better than 120th and you're not in my league yet, we could get ourselves up. But yeah, Brendan is absolutely carrying right now. First in the world. What an absolute monster score that was. Ola Aina as well. What a beast. Well done, Brendan. Anyway, so I'm 1.3 million. I stink. But I still give good advice, I think. I stink, though. I'm not doing very well. I try. I'm trying my best, okay? Yeah, I'm like 19,000th in my league or something. It's quite sad, really. How many people in your league? I think we've got like 80,000 or something ridiculous. We've got loads of people in the league, to be fair. He's 200 points ahead of you. I know. It's embarrassing, isn't it? Right, get back to your question. We've got 20 minutes until the deadline, by the way, chat. I would start thinking about, if you want to make your moves, maybe getting them locked in soon. Think about captaincy, vice captaincy, getting your bench order sorted as well. I need to actually take a quick screenshot of my team, you know, because I think the screenshot I had Vandenberg in the starting 11. I'm going to start Rico Lewis. And the reason for that is not because I have any news. I just think that Vandenberg, unless I get really lucky with a clean sheet or attacking return, it's probably a 1 or 2 pointer. Whereas with Lewis, if he doesn't start, it's a 1 pointer. But if he does start, I just feel like there's a slightly greater chance for a clean sheet. He's got more attacking threat. City are a better defence. I slightly back that. Have I missed any early team news? No, nothing, sadly. Nothing, sadly. I was hoping we might get something about Rico Lewis or Cole Palmer, but it doesn't look that way. Just check in to make sure we haven't got anything. Yeah, it all looks very quiet. Do you know what? I don't mind this. I think in an ideal world, we don't get early team news. Like, I would love it if early team news somehow, it wouldn't be, but if it was somehow like banned, I wouldn't have an issue with that. I feel like part of the fun in FPL is predicting who's going to start. I think that's a great thing overall. There's no skill involved in sitting there and waiting for someone to tell you who starts or not. The skill is prediction of minutes, right? The skill is, do I think Lewis will start? Is it worth the risk? As soon as you get told who's starting in advance, it ruins it a bit. So yeah, I'm all for it. I saw a few people suggest that we could have a Friday evening deadline every week to avoid team leaks. I quite like that. Just like force us on a Friday evening to lock in our teams. It's not an issue. Yeah, I don't like them. Let's ban leaks. Obviously, I know you're probably thinking, then Ross, why are you sat there waiting? Obviously, if they are available to me, it would be silly not to use them. So I'm always going to use them if I can, but I would ideally like them to not. Yeah, just imagine every Friday, regardless of whether the deadline's on a Friday or a Saturday, at what time, every Friday the deadline's at 7 p.m. UK time, and that's it, done. Let's all delete Twitter. Hey, Ross, please help me decide Dallo, Virgil, or Trent to bring in or to start. I mean, you'd want to start all of them. If it's to bring in, I quite like Dallo this week. If you're bringing in one of those three. Currently have Vardy, transfer to Cunha or Raul. I prefer Cunha, if you can afford Cunha. I also think I prefer Strand Larsen to Raul now, to be honest. Raul Jimenez is still fine. I just think his minutes are slightly a concern. And also, his best fixture, really, was the Brentford game last week in which he did very little. That was the one that I really wanted him for, was actually last week. I feel like now that game's gone, I think I'd probably move towards Strand Larsen slightly more. Got an itchy egg, chat. My head always looks massive when I take my hat off, but if I've had my hat off, it doesn't look... It's only because I've had a hat on that it looks big, you know? Do you get what I mean, chat? Ross, just join the league. Do my points carry over? Yeah, if you just join the league, your points will carry over. It's not a fresh start for your points. You won't be technically in the league properly until for next game week. What do I need to do to get you to answer my super chat? Have I missed your super chat? Sorry. It was probably when I was looking at something else. Oh, yeah, I see you. Raya, Lewis, Gvardiol, Gabriel, Ola Aina, Vandenberg, Palmer, Rogers, Johnson, Mbermo, Dibbling, Haaland, Cunha, Solanke. 3 free transfers with that team. Lewis, Haaland, Dibbling to 8 Nuri, Isak, Salah. I think I'd do that. Yeah, I think I would actually do that. You're massively upgrading Lewis and Dibbling there by getting 8 Nuri and Isak. And Salah's probably marginally better than Haaland when you take into account pricing. So yeah, I'd probably do that. Start one of Hall, Rogers, or Smith Rowe. Probably Smith Rowe. Mavididi to Gordon / play Gabriel back 4 and do next week. I'd probably just play Gabriel. I don't think Newcastle will score many goals against Forest. We know that Forest are a pretty good defence. Plan to wildcard in 14/15. Rogers to Bruno for a -4. I'd be tempted. Yeah, I'd be tempted, Elliot. Mr. Martin says, hello, mate. I got a huge bench headache. One of these to start, rest to bench. Lewis, Rogers, Robinson, or McNeil. Oh, very tough. I'd probably marginally say Dwight McNeil. Just about. I think that's very close. Have a really good day and wish Pickle happy birthday from a fellow Villa fan. Thank you very much. If she's not listening, I'll make sure I pass that on, but thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat. Aaron says, Watkins, Diaz out, Saka and Cunha in. Watkins, Diaz out, Saka and Cunha in. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Saves the transfer of Saka when the fixtures get good soon. Wildcard used already. Yeah, I would probably do that, Aaron. I like that. Cunha's great for this week. As you say, get Saka in ahead. No issue. 15-minute warning. Thank you for that, Claudette. Yeah, 15 minutes till the deadline. Nah, I wouldn't be considering triple captain on a Spurs asset this week, personally. I mean, go for it if you want to. I mean, I triple captained Haaland for a 6-pointer. You're probably likely to get more than the 6 points. But this is the concern, I suppose, in a single game week. Like, Haaland against Southampton at home is as good as, if not probably better than a Spurs asset against Ipswich at home. You just never know what's going to happen. I'm going for Haaland captain. Are you still doing it, Ross? Yeah, I think so. In fact, I am, yeah. I'm not going to change my mind now. Unless we were to get a leak for some reason that made me doubt it. But, yeah. I just think the damage isn't as high for me when I've got Salah. Like, if Salah goes and puts in a 15-pointer and Haaland blanks, that's a big swing. It is. But it's not as big as if I didn't even have Salah. Right? I've at least got 15 of Salah's points there. I don't have the double, but I just feel like it covers me slightly. And I would hope that the swing isn't going to be that big anyway, would be my hope. Rodgers or Jimenez? I would go Jimenez. Start Gabriel or not? I think Gabriel's fine to start this week. I actually have a sneaky suspicion that they could keep a clean sheet, Arsenal. Don't know why. Chelsea away just feels like the sort of game where they just come up trumps and just get like a 1-0 win. If I had to predict that game, I could see it being like 1-0 Arsenal. They just find a way. You know, they just sometimes do in those slightly tougher games, especially if Ødegaard is available. I think they're getting back to having a team now where most players are fit. Eamon says, howdy, Ross. Sell 8 Nuri, Trent, Porro, Saka, Son, Salah, Bruno. Oh, sells. I was like, a sell? Sells 8 Nuri, Trent, Porro, Saka, Son, Salah, Bruno, and Burmo, Cunha, Wood. That is a perfect team, isn't it, really? What are you missing? Just Haaland, but it's not a huge issue. Would you swap out Saka for Solanke? 3 transfers available, also who's captain. I wouldn't in a million years switch out Saka for Solanke, because that's a 2 transfer, and then you'd want Saka back from next week when Solanke's got City. I think you just accept that you don't have Solanke. Who to captain? I think it's Salah. Maybe Son. But I'd go Salah. Arsenal have been great recently at Stamford Bridge, have they? Maybe that's what's in the back of my mind. I didn't know that, but maybe that's what's subconsciously affecting. Maybe I just remember seeing those results. Just seen the Newcastle team bus arrive in West Bridgeford. For all those wondering, it's confirmed Eddie Howe was on the bus. That's good to know. McNeil to Semenyo, I have 2 free transfers. Yeah, I actually don't mind that for free. I'd go for it. I'm starting Colwell over Gabriel. Is that crazy? Yes. It just is. Colwell's not got as much attacking threat. Chelsea are not as good defensively. I'd much rather start Gabriel, but it's up to you. I guess he's playing at home, Colwell. Haaland versus Salah versus Solanke. Captain pick final views. Still the same. Haaland and Salah, I think, is a 50-50. And there is a bit of a drop-off for me going for Solanke. It's not me trying to put you off it. It's great. He's got the fixture. He's playing well in the last couple of games. I just think the Haaland and Salah, they're the price they are for a reason. They're consistently good. Solanke seems to run very hot and cold. So there's some high upside there, but it also feels like slightly lower upside. I know Haaland's not been good in recent weeks, but it's Erling Haaland. We've seen it over a long enough period. So I would say Haaland versus Salah is 50-50. If you want my objective opinion, my final ordering for captaincy, Salah, Haaland, Solanke, Son. I am captaining Haaland because I think it's very close between him and Salah, and I just want to go a little bit more differential. Hey Ross, Foden to Son for free or Foden to Salah and a non-important bench downgrade for a -4. I would say none of the above, Chris, because I think Foden's fine for this week and I think he could do very well. I would keep Foden if I own Foden now. I think this week is good. If you're going to make one of the 2 moves, I would go for Salah. I just think you get in advance. You know you want to keep Salah. You've got Salah for game week 12 against Southampton. If you do Son, you're then thinking, how do I get Salah for next week? So you're then going to have to make a transfer next week anyway. So yeah, I'll get the -4 done and get Salah in. Did DCL to Wissa? Is it a good move or too soon? It's fine. The only issue is Brentford's forward Thiago is back after the international break, and with Thiago back, I don't know how good Wissa's minutes will be. But I think he'll still get good minutes in the short term at least. Would you sell Jimenez for Strand Larsen? Nah, I wouldn't sell Jimenez. What about Wood versus Cunha? I still prefer Cunha for the fixtures, but Chris Wood is just in ridiculous form. Ridiculous form. Thanks for the answer, mate. No worries, Chris. Sells or Fabianski? I'd lean Sells still, I think. Triple captain Haaland now? No, I don't think so. It's probably one that I definitely wouldn't triple captain him. I'm really in a big issue. Aina, Keane on Gabriel. We need to start one of them. I'd start Gabriel, then Aina, then Keane in that order. First FPL for me. What's an epic overall rank at Game Week 38? Love Raptor. For your first season, maybe like top 250k would be really good. Top 500k is not awful if it's your first season. In terms of like an epic rank, if you can finish inside the top 100k in your first season, that is an epic rank. That would be insane. That's like much better than most people would do. Are you surprised by over 600,000 transfers out for Haaland? Not at all. He scored once in 5 games. He's 15.3 million, and Salah is twatting in goals for fun. If I didn't have an easier route to get to Haaland and keep to get to Salah and keep Haaland, I would have just sold Haaland. I would definitely overall, when you consider the pricing, prefer Salah to Haaland. But if you can get both of them, I still feel like that's not a bad position to be in, which is where I've landed myself. I do feel very nice every week having Palmer, Salah, Haaland. It feels quite safe that those three can't really hurt me too much. The ones I'm very, very scared of Brennan Johnson, Son and Solanke. If there are 3 players that I'm scared of this week, it's those 3. I think Spurs could beat Ipswich 4-5-6-0. Wouldn't be surprised. So that could be very, very painful on Sunday. But that's tomorrow. We can have a nice day today and then worry about that tomorrow. I finished last year first season 6k. That's crazy, Thomas. Aina or Lewis, Mr. Raps? I would go Ola Aina myself. If you've got a really decent alternative to Rico Lewis, I still wouldn't mind benching him, but start Rodgers or Welbeck? I think I'd start Welbeck. Twatting is so underused. Twatting as a verb is so funny. Twatting in goals is like the funniest statement. I don't know why, I just love it. Or twatted it across. Twatted is even funnier than twatting. If you twat it across... if you say twatted the crossbar, I just think that's such a funny... I don't know why, I love it. Have we had any team leaks? No, we've literally had no team leaks for any team. I didn't think we would, but I thought there was a small chance we get maybe something on Cole Palmer or Rico Lewis or whatever. What's Pickle doing? I think Pickle's just contemplating whether to sell Rico Lewis or not. And if she does, I think it's for a Man United defender. I don't know what she's deciding to do. It's her birthday, bless her. She doesn't want all this stress. Yeah, no news. I was just checking my DMs, see if I got anything. Nothing. Like I said, I don't think this is an issue. I don't think this is an issue. We now get to make decisions without the leaks, which is... It benefits us. You know, this is where the real skill comes in. Start Vandenberg or Anderson. I'd probably start Anderson, honestly. I sold Van der Ven instead. I don't know why I didn't think to do that anyway, benching Lewis. So who did you sell Van der Ven for? Was it Matthias de Ligt? Did you listen to my advice or did you go somewhere else? Let me know. If Matthias de Ligt scores a bullet header now, I'm going to go ballistic because it's my team scoring. Also, I would honestly say out of all of the Man United players that I met last week, Matthias de Ligt was the loveliest. Like, no word of a lie, Matthias de Ligt was so kind. You can even see in... where is it? Look at the way he's looking at me. He's so cute. Look at the big smile on his face. He was really, really, like, really, really kind. So, no, I got Dallo. Not listening to my advice then. I literally gave her this whole spiel about it. Do you know what? I hope the Lick scores a bullet header now. Pickle. Whoa, my stream just lagged out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Calm down. Start Dallo, Virgil, Trent, Aina, 8 Nuri. You got a bench 2 then, right? I would bench Aina and Verge. That's probably like bench boost territory, though. Would you go Rodgers to Bruno or Saka? I'd be tempted by both, yeah, in all honesty. I'd probably happily do either of those. If it's for free, I'd do either of those. Captaining Diaz. Nice men coming to take me away. Luis Diaz, I don't even know if he'll start. It could be Gakpo and Darwin, so I probably wouldn't do that. Bench Lewis for Hall. Yeah, I'd probably start Lewis Hall ahead of Rico Lewis, yeah. Yeah, probably. Transfer out Trent for 8 Nuri. Only if you're doing something with the funds. I wouldn't do that just for the sake of it. I've done DCL out for Even Ilson. All the best, Ross. Love that as a transfer. DCL and Gabriel to 8 Nuri and Strand Larson for a -4. Probably not. I'd probably just do the DCL to Strand Larson move. I wouldn't do the Gabriel to 8 Nuri move. Yeah, sorry, the stream cut out temporarily. We back. Probably not very well, but we're back. Aina or Rodgers as first bench sub? I'd have Rodgers ahead of Aina, Will. Myself. Palmer captain? Nah, not for me. Not for me. Arsenal are still a good defence. I can't see Palmer getting more than 1 return, so no. Start Mikalenko or Lewis? I'd marginally lean towards Lewis, but I think that's very close. Captain Cunha? I don't mind it. Don't mind it. McNeil or Lewis first sub, says Pickle. Dwight McNeil, Pickle, if you're listening. Yeah, if you're listening, Dwight McNeil first sub I'd have. Do we have any news on McNeil? No news, but the fact that he wasn't mentioned by Deitch, who's usually pretty upfront, or he'll at least mention the injured players, that's got to be a good sign, right? That he wasn't even mentioned. And the thing is, I still maintain, and I said this last week, if McNeil is fit, he starts, and if he's not fit, he won't be in the squad. So I don't think you'll get a cameo from McNeil. Victor says, Verbruggen, Gvardiol, 8 Nuri, Robinson, Rodgers, Mpermo, Johnson, Palmer, Salah, Rao, Captain Haaland, Rico, Collins, 1 free transfer, who to bench and start advice. So you need to bench... I mean, you've already sorted your bench, right? Rico and Collins on the bench. I think that's fine. That's probably what I would do. Yeah. And you've only given me 7 attackers, haven't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll just bench the 2 that you've already got on the bench. No team leaks at the moment. No team leaks at the moment, sadly. I still have been saying lots of people still asking about Fabianski, Flecken. I think I would marginally lean towards Fabianski, but I think it's extremely close. Flecken does make a lot of saves. So you could get, again, like a 4-pointer from Flecken where he doesn't even keep a clean sheet. But I would probably just about lean Fabianski. Greater chance for a clean sheet. Deadline is in 2 minutes. That is correct. Deadline is in 2 minutes. I'd probably stop asking questions and just get your team locked in. I'm pretty happy with mine. Let me just double check that I have indeed got everything sorted for it. Yeah, I'm going to start Rico Lewis. If Vandenberg somehow goes and gets a goal or an assist or something, then sad times. Yeah, make sure your teams are safe. Make sure your vice captain sorted. Less than a minute till the deadline. Make sure you've thought about your bench order as well. Sells or Sanchez to start? Sells. Lewis or Robinson? I'd probably start Robinson. Leno over Fabianski? Yeah, probably just about. I've captained Salah, nearly went Cunha, but bottled it. The thing is, if Cunha does well, you're still excited, right? If Salah does well and you've not captained him, it sucks, so. Imagine not having Newcastle defenders. That is not my priority right now. If Newcastle can keep out Chris Wood, though, I would be buzzing. Please, can they do that? I would love a Newcastle clean sheet this week. Chris Wood could stop scoring. That'd be great. Which team do you support? Manchester United. And no, I don't let it affect my decisions. As you can see, I've got 0 Man United players this week. You didn't make a transfer this week, did you? No, I've rolled. Rolled the transfer. All right, guys. That is it. We are locked in. Oh, big stretch. That's the locked in stretch. Oh, laggy lag. Oh, right. Let me tweak my team out. That was more stressful than it should have been, really. Right, let me tweet it out. Done. The actual stream starts now. I don't know how to tell you this, chat, but the actual stream does not start now because it's FPL Pickle's birthday, and I have a train to Birmingham very soon. So I am going to have to leave in the next 5 minutes. I'll stay for a few minutes, but yeah, I've got to run. I need to really quickly maybe have a snack and then pack all my stuff together and then head to Birmingham. If you're out in Birmingham tonight and you see me, say hello. You might see me a bit boozed up, running around with my top off. I am known to actually take my clothes off when I'm drunk, so I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry. Wish her a happy birthday. She's in the chat. Wish her a happy birthday yourself. As I said, if you're not yet following FPL Pickle, how many followers do you have now? I did tell everyone to follow you, but I don't know if they listened to me. Yeah, you gained a decent number. If you're not following Pickle yet, she's my girlfriend. It's her birthday. She's very good at FPL. Go wish her a happy birthday and drop her a follow. You know? She would appreciate it very much. She's got a new profile picture as well. Look at that. Looks a bit like my FPL Raptor logo, you know? Doesn't it? You know? Going for Wood Captain. Tell me I'm stupid. I'm chasing a rank. I don't mind it. Go for it. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I don't even own Chris Wood, but it's nothing stupid in FPL. It's about having fun, isn't it? So. No, you're ditching us for Pickle. Unacceptable, Ross. Listen, she is the priority. This is what makes me the best boyfriend in the world. I am a wonderful partner. just gassing myself up here. You're great, Ross. Oh my god, I just woke up. Happy birthday, Pickle. You missed the deadline, Calvin. You suck. Happy birthday from me and Nana Raptor, says my mum. This is cute. Isn't this cute? My train's in like an hour, so I've got a little bit of time. You know she's watching. She should be watching. If she's not, then she's missed out on everyone wishing her a happy birthday. Pickle, are you watching? I bet she's doing something around the house. What type of restaurant are you taking her to? I'm going out of her and her friends. I've booked an Indian restaurant. This looks very nice, to be honest. She's not even here. She's not even here. I'm going to message her now. Should I voice note her instead? Pickle, we're all... Oh, okay. I'm voice noting you as we speak to have a go at you for not being here, but she's here. Bye. There you go. You've just received a voice note, Pickle. She's stressing about the Salah hat trick. Yeah, probably, to be fair. I would be as well. I kind of am as well, because I've not captained him, so... I woke up at 1:25 and made my move, so you suck. Well, why weren't you in the chat at 1:25, Calvin? Jesus. I am here. Took your time. Blind egg is blind. I'm not blind. I've got glasses on for that reason. Oh, I thought you were going to send a voice note back. Do you want to send a voice note that I can play to the chat to say thank you? Yeah, my voice. Yeah. My voice breaks all the time. Like, am I still 12 or something? What's wrong with me? Yeah, we love Indian food. Always Indian. We actually both had Indian last night, and now we're going to have Indian again today. That is Indian 2 days in a row. Do you remember that time on the stream when I said I'd slap an Indian and I meant the food and then it got a bit out of hand? You know, that wasn't good, was it? Why does my eye look red? Why does my eye look red? I don't know if that's just on the stream. Interesting. Have a great time tonight and happy birthday, Pickle. Thank you, FPL Cats. Pickle is typing vigorously, or is she recording a message? Who knows? Is Pickle not on YouTube? No, not yet. I'm trying my best though. Go to Indian Go to Indian order. Talk to me. The go-to Indian order would be a chicken madras for me. I also like Bombay aloo. A chicken madras. What's Pickle said?
Hi, I've had to mute your stream, but thank you everyone for the kind messages. Not gonna lie, I'm terrified for this week. I do not have high hopes for me. I'm just hoping that on this day, Salah doesn't twat in 10 million goals against my team. That's all I'm hoping for today.
Hopefully you heard that. I don't know if you did, but hopefully you did. That was a very nice voice note, Pickle. What's your... Oh, I read that one, didn't I? When's the Pickle reveal? I've already revealed the Pickle on my Twitter. This is my Pickle. You want to see the Pickle? This... Whoa, my computer is having a fit right now. There's the Pickle. Pickle 1. If it loads. Pickle 2. Why is my computer dying inside? That is an outrage. You know what? This is probably my sign, and I also need to go. So we are going to call it there. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you. Sorry about my computer and my camera. I do my best, but I say I do my best. I don't. You probably can't even hear me at this stage. If you can, I love you very much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will see you early next week for FPL therapy and also a YouTube video. And then we'll have a bit of time off over the international break. Big love, and I will catch you soon. Bye, guys.